This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines warning that council tax bailiffs scare the children. Election focus will be on the economy and draw for Stevenage away to League leaders.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs around to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. According to the Children's Society, last year in Bedford there were 57 bailiff visits per 1,000 households. In Welwyn Hatfield there were 47. More from Tony Fisher.
The charity says the majority of those families who had a bailiff sent round left their child frightened, sad or worried. It recommends helping families get back on their feet by giving them more advice rather than threatening struggling households. Across the whole of England, the charity says councils sent out bailiffs 1.3 million times last year.
The economy is expected to be the focus for the two main Westminster parties again today as general election campaigning continues. The Conservatives will pledge to create 2 million jobs. Labour will promise to cut business rates in its first budget. A court in Malaysia has found a man guilty of killing two British medical students in Borneo last August, Neil Dalton and Aidan Brunga, who were both 22 and students at Newcastle University, were working at a hospital on the island when they were stabbed in a bar. The NSPCC says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they are addicted to online pornography. Of the 700 youngsters questioned by Childline, 1 in 5 had viewed pornography that has upset them. More from Seema Katecha.
With many young people owning smartphones and tablets, children find it easier to view pornography than ever before. The NSPCC commissioned the company One Poll to survey 2,000 young people online, with the permission of their parents. Almost 700 of them were between the ages of 12 and 13. The charity says its findings suggest that 1 in 10 12 to 13-year-olds is worried they're addicted to pornography. 12% of that age group said they had appeared in a sexually explicit video.
More than 2,500 rail passengers have been prosecuted for fare dodging between 2013 and 14, according to the Crown Prosecution Service, but that doesn't include those given fixed penalty notices by train operators. Martin Abrams is from the Campaign for Better Transport.
The problem that we see day after day with our fares and ticketing system is that it's incredibly complicated to understand, and more often than not, people are buying the wrong ticket for a journey without really knowing and then getting a fixed penalty notice as a result.
In sport, Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night, a result which leaves them just 2 points from a playoff place. The draw also moves Graham Westley's side level on points with Luton.
After the break they came out and we had to weather a storm. We had to dig deep, we had to organise and show resilience. We had to run very, very hard on a very difficult surface, and I think the boys showed a terrific amount of commitment to bring the point home in the end.
And world champion Lewis Hamilton expects to sign a new Mercedes contract this week that could be worth more than £27 million a year. The weather: gale force winds to start the day in places, then bright or sunny spells and scattered blustery showers. A maximum temperature 11 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thanks, Ox. Today, 3 inescapable truths. Truths or truths?
Either or, I'm not going to be fussy about it. It's Tuesday.
I've eaten far too much chocolate already for this time of the day.
Tax. Porn. Oh yeah, why is a woman bringing a cat into the studio later on?
She's going to talk to it.
We're local radio, yeah?
Are we?
Yeah. If you weren't sure, then that has proven it. Proven or proved?
Or proven?
Hey.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
I wasn't at the meeting yesterday. I had much better things to do, including going on an Easter trail with two boys. I thought would last 45 minutes. The establishment told me it would last an hour and a half. 2.5 hours later, we staggered back to claim our free, it costs £3.50 per boy, Easter egg.
Yeah. But it saves you from sitting in watching the telly all day.
I forgot we had the telly. Oh, no. But I missed the meeting. Who decide lady with cat coming in, talking to cat, good idea for radio?
Well...
Oh, you're joking. Have I taught you nothing?
What it was I presented it as 12 quid for this. People buy all sorts.
Yes.
And everyone went, oh, that's really good, though. Talking to cats.
No. Don't put it on the noses of every of those other simpering idiots.
Whoever was there knows that I was quite sweary about it and said, what a load of... And I did it as a joke, and then it got serious.
What time is the woman with a cat coming in?
07:50 hours.
OK, she won't be coming in if she hears this introduction, will she?
She will.
Will she?
Well, she speaks cat, so
she
speak English, does she?
and speaks to the cat. What? Sorry, I'll let go. And says what to it? Unbelievable.
My Liverpool kit's just moving by itself. Okay, thank you, bye-bye.
He's quite literally a legend in his own underpants.
Wake up, you slackers. It's The Who. I like The Who. They did some rubbish. They did do some rubbish.
They do enjoy themselves, don't they?
They love it. Oh, a violin. Don't do that, please.
Why would a boy play with a girl's toy?
If you don't know that, Justin, you don't know nothing. Have fun, Nagila, have fun.
I do it in head.
Oh, cheeky.
Girls, the last couple of days, they've been crying into their sleep.
Go away!
A charity, blimey, O'Reilly. No, Barbara O'Reilly, sorry. A charity is calling for councils to stop sending bailiffs to homes with children. A new report by the Children's Society recommends helping rather than threatening families who fall behind with their council tax payments. Well, last year in Bedford, there were 57 bailiff visits per 1,000 households. And in Welling Hatfield, there were 47. That's not massive percentages at all. That's 5.7%. Is it? Catherine's got more details. What does this report say, Catherine?
Well, as you said, the Children's Society is calling on all councils to stop sending bailiffs to homes with children, to give struggling residents a chance to negotiate affordable repayment, and to make sure that every family is getting a final reminder notice, but is also offered help from an independent advice agency. The charity says adopting these measures needn't reduce the amount of tax that councils collect, and their reports explored examples of local authorities that have limited the use of bailiffs and provided more space for families to seek advice, or indeed asked families to let them know early when they're struggling. And they say that they've successfully collected council tax at higher than average rates.
How big a problem is this in the 3 counties?
Well, for our purposes, to do with the way the data was gathered and how it's broken down, we're focusing on the east, so Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire.
So we're focusing on the 2 counties?
The two of the 3 counties.
2 of the 3 counties.
Buckinghamshire, it doesn't mean it's not happening where you are, but we just don't know.
Go and make a cup of tea.
Take the load off. In Bedford last year, there were 57 bailiff visits per 1,000 households compared to 38 bailiff visits per 1,000 households in central Bedfordshire. We don't have comparable figures for Luton. Again, per 1,000 households in Welling Hatfield, there were 47 bailiff visits last year, 44 in St Albans, 27 in Dacorum and only 2 in East Hertfordshire.
Gosh, I do like the stories that have got loads of numbers in first thing in the morning. Yeah. How does this compare across the region?
OK, according to the Children's Society, councils in the east of England sent bailiffs to chase unpaid council tax in more than an estimated 110,000 times.
Do you know what? These numbers don't mean anything to me. I'm not getting these numbers at all.
OK, well, let's just focus on whether or not the impact is that the children get upset.
Yeah, what's the effect on the children?
Well, most families who got a knock on the door said the children were there at the time, according to this report, with the majority of those families saying the experience left their child frightened, sad or worried. And there you have it. This is the problem that...
why is it such a big problem now? I'm sure there'll be lots of people with different arguments as to why. What's the line we're
according to the charity, the reasons for falling into council debt can include family emergencies, losing a job, being unable to manage household bills and unexpected costs like broken boilers, things like that. Also, government cuts to council tax support have coincided with a 25% increase in households falling behind on their council tax. One mum in council tax debt spoke about her inability to hide the impact of her debts from the children, telling the charity they just knew that I was stressed and there were strange people at the door wanting things and most of the furniture that got taken at that point.
OK, let's try not to have too many numbers first thing in the morning because it's confusing.
Should the council treat homes with children differently?
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
There's not a lot in the papers. I found that story a bit dull, if I'm completely honest.
Well, to be honest, the way the figures were spun yesterday were quite different, but when we actually looked at the report...
Oh, one of those, was it? Well,
yeah, because it did look like central Bedfordshire and Bedford were among the highest proportion of...
and we weren't.
Visits. Well, no.
You're spinning your statistics so we think we got an interesting story and we hadn't.
Well, I can't complain. I was spending 2.5 hours walking through some woods trying to dodge the rain.
What kind of egg did you get at the end of it?
Chocolate Easter egg.
Yeah, no, but what kind though?
It was just wrapped in silver foil.
Oh, generic egg.
Generic. We've got a GE, the generic egg. The boys were pleased with it.
Yeah, they
I tell you what was exciting. Let's go around and answer questions, okay? It was in Savile Garden. It was brilliant. It was too long. It was too... I tell you what, let's have the travel and then I'll whinge about walks.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC 3 Counties Radio.
It's looking fine on the M1 so far this morning, but looking at the CCTV cameras, it does look quite wet and shiny on the road surface, so visibility could be a problem. It's also been really windy overnight, so on the back roads it might be some hazards. In Hedgerley on Carlingswood Road, that's got water mains work going on at Hare Hatch Lane, so that could cause some delays later on. And in Haddenham on the A418, there's gas mains works going on at New Road, and that's looking fine at the moment, but it also could cause some delays later on too. Thameslink are reporting possible delays between Bedford and Brighton because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes! 6:15. It is Tuesday, the 31st of March, guys. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. Speaking of children, the NSPCC says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they are addicted to online pornography. And in sports, Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday morning.
Coming up at 9 on the Big Phone In this morning, is it a good idea to make jobless teenagers work for their benefits?
How would you like this country to stand up to President Putin? Are you surprised to see British people being blatantly racist?
The JVS Show.
I think we've got to get over this issue about racism doesn't exist. It has existed. It will probably carry on existing.
What I wanted to say is they've got this completely the wrong way around.
You know, that is also true. That is also true.
You will always get some, but they are such a minority.
I think the man's a buffoon.
Get him up, get him out of bed, give him a sense of purpose.
The JVS Show.
Do you think we have got to, as a country, start taking this issue more seriously?
Every weekday morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do.
1 in 10 12 to 13-year-olds is addicted to online pornography. That's according to the NSPCC, who questioned over 700 adolescents and found that 1 in 5 had seen images and shocked them, and 1 in 10 had made or featured in a sexually explicit video. Kate Russell is a technology reporter and author. Morning, Kate.
Good morning, Ian.
I suppose you won't know the answer to this, I don't think. But I wonder what their definition of addicted is.
Well, that's a really good point. I mean, and the research actually says that the children say that they feel that they're addicted, and I wonder if at 13 years old what kind of a comprehension they've got of the concept. So it's an interesting study, and some would say that probably 1 in 5 have seen pornography. Well, it's probably more than that.
It probably is. It's so much easier. Well, what I'm going to say sounds like I'm making light of it, and I'm not. But when I was growing up in the 70s, we found porn in bushes, or, and here's a confession, I found it in my dad's wardrobe.
Yeah.
But it is so easily accessible now, isn't it?
It is, but the great thing about this campaign that the NSPCC is setting off to support this research is that the main thrust of it is actually to say we need to stop making it uncomfortable to talk about this and actually start speaking to young people about what is and isn't safe and what is and isn't right and how it makes them feel. And so to take that kind of the hidden nature of it away from and accept the fact that kids are going to explore stuff online and porn exists and it always has done, and now it's online, so it's very accessible, and so we're better off just sort of talking about it with children and making sure that they're comfortable with it.
If you're going to let your young person have a telephone, and this isn't completely, that there'll be other ways around it, but you can get things like Net Nanny or K9 programs that have a filter on and stop you accessing pornography.
Absolutely. There are several things that you can do as a parent if you want to, sort of help in the safety, other than speaking. And I think the really important thing here to remember is for those parents who are not technically adept, is to remember that having a piece of software to protect your child on the home PC is not a silver bullet. It doesn't mean you can let that piece of software look after them, first of all.
No.
But there are great things that you can do. There's parental control software. K9 Web Protection is a brilliant one. It's free. It allows you to set up blocks on either keywords or URLs so that your child literally cannot enter pages on the web that have those things attached to them. It can also set up restrictions and curfews. So you can basically place blocks to say after 9 o'clock at night, you don't get the internet. It cuts it off for you, which can be quite useful as well.
I wouldn't let... I know, I've had this before and you'll disagree. You sound like a thrusting young person whose finger's on the pulse, and I'm an old fart. But when my boys are older and they're 12 and 13, they're not going to have smartphones. I'm not going to let them have computers in their bedroom.
No, I mean, I would agree. I'll be honest with you, and I don't have children, but I'm a very experienced auntie. I've got 17 nephews and nieces.
Oh, blimey, your family are busy.
So, I've got plenty of experience with young people, and I actually don't think it's good to let children have computers in their bedroom that are connected to the internet. If they have got smartphones, they should leave them downstairs when they go to bed at night, because it's good to have a break from it. Never mind pornography. It's easy to get addicted to lots of things that technology that deliver to you. So
computers are brilliant, because quite often on these kind of shows people go, the internet's bad. Computers are brilliant, the internet is brilliant, but we can have too much of it, can't we?
Yeah, too much of a good thing. Everything in moderation, including moderation. I believe that was a Noel Coward quote, possibly.
No, Kate, claim that for yourself. No one remembers that one from Noel Coward. Claim that for yourself. Certain service providers... Yeah. I'm with Sky, and I tried to access a site that wasn't actually naughty, but it had a naughty word in it, and it popped up on my computer, Sky won't let you access this. So some service providers are kind of blocking, but not really. They're sort of paying lip service to it, aren't they?
Well, this happened a couple of years ago, and it's called ISP level filtering, which is your internet service provider, which is Sky or Virgin or whoever it is you get your internet through, BT. The government actually said to them, you have to filter and offer that level of filtering at ISP level. So you need to switch it on if you want to get these pornographic sites. You need to go to your ISP and said, I don't want that switched off, I want that switched on. And this for me is a problem, because what this did is they made a big song and dance about it. We're going to protect children and we're going to make the ISPs filter at server level. Unfortunately, I think that gives parents, again, who are not as technically adept as their children, the false impression that they're safe. When actually anything but, if you're trying to protect them, I mean, that all came about after the April Jones murder, and it's like we want to protect children from predators. Well, I'm sorry, if predators are looking for children on the internet, they are not necessarily going to be using keywords and websites that are, put their hands up and said we're a pornographic website. So it's a bit of a false, sort of false.
And also, I would suggest that if kids are as young as 12 are taking rude photos of themselves and sending them to other kids, I would say a lot of that is down to what we have taught them as parents and as society about what is acceptable, and surely parents should be teaching them enough self-respect that they don't do that.
Absolutely, and again, if you're a parent who doesn't know about the internet and your child is very good at the internet, use that as an excuse to spend a bit of time with them and ask them to teach you about the internet, and then you'll get an impression of where they're going and who they're speaking to. I mean, you can get keyloggers as well, right? What is it really? And I think this is something. It's an invisible program that actually records all of the activity that goes on a keyboard.
Oh dear!
I'm saying don't do it without your child's permission.
Yeah.
Because actually, knowing that everything is going to be recorded, and even video phone calls, webcam calls, it will take a screenshot at periodic processes. So if your child knows that's going to be going on, that's probably the best parent you have.
It's better to let them know that rather than come and embarrass and shame them the next day and say, I saw you were looking at this website.
Exactly.
The internet, Kate, all it is porn and cats, isn't it? That's it. Porn and cats.
And social media. I think you're probably right. But there's a lot of wonderful things on the internet, and it frustrates me when people who are fearful of the internet blame it for all the evils of the world.
Brilliant. Hey, isn't
it an amazing place?
I was on a website the other day. I don't know if you've seen this. A thing called Friends Reunited. Have you seen it? It's brilliant.
Welcome to the 1990s, Ian.
Kate, nice to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. That's Kate Russell, technology reporter and author. I do, because you do get all these shows and they go, the internet's terrible. There's perverts and paedophiles out there. Well, there's perverts and paedophiles outside this front door. The internet's brilliant, generally. It's brilliant, isn't it? I liked her. I thought she was good. We've said this before, though. I'm not allowing a 12, 13-year-old to have smartphones and computers in their room.
But it turns out you and I are swimming against the tide. Whenever we say this, people say, you wait till you've not got small children anymore.
No, I'm not waiting for anything.
My brave, my brave, my brave.
The only thing I'm waiting for is Paul McCartney.
I've been living in style, unaccustomed as I am to the luxury life. I've been hitting the town and it didn't hit back. I've been doing the rounds, unaccustomed as the table. I'll lay for two. Now that I'm alone again, I can't stop breaking down again. The simplest things set me off again. Take me to that place where I can find my brave face. Where I can find my brave face. My brave, my brave, my brave
Kate, who was just on as a website, katerussell.co.uk. Thank you, Kate. We'll have a look at the papers after the Trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Woburn Sands on Cranfield Road, a tree's fallen down and it's blocked the road in both directions between Station Road and Lower End Road. Having a look at the speed sensors elsewhere in High Wycombe on the A40 Oxford Road, it's looking fine so far through the roadworks at Temple Street in both directions, but I expect that to cause delays later on this morning. And no reports of any major delays on the motorways. On the M1 Luton Airport Spur Road, there are roadworks between the Kidneywood roundabout and Junction 10 at the main carriageway, so that could cause some delays if you're heading to the airport. And it's also looking quite wet on the road surface, so visibility could be a problem, and those strong winds to be mindful of as well. And on the trains, Thameslink are reporting possible delays between Bedford and Brighton because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs around to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. The NSPCC says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they're addicted to online pornography. And the economy is expected to be the focus for the two main Westminster parties again today as general election campaigning continues.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night, a result which leaves them just 2 points from a playoff place. Both goals were own goals in the first half, with the Borough taking the lead. The draw also moves Graham Westley's side level on points with Luton.
It's about what you do in the two boxes, and in the two boxes we weren't clinical enough in the first half, they weren't clinical enough in the second half. But late on, perhaps we could have got one or two bits of fortune in their box. If we had done, we could have come away with 3 big points. But I think a draw is a fair result, and a point was well earned by us.
Tottenham striker Harry Kane will start for England for the first time in tonight's friendly against Italy in Turin. Here's manager Roy Hodgson.
I've quite enjoyed the hype around him and the speculation and the interest and the excitement. I thought it was fantastic at Wembley on Friday night. I really enjoyed that, and of course, like everyone else, fantastic that after 80 seconds he scores a goal. It really is a bit of a fairy tale situation, and I love fairy tales in football like everybody else.
And Watford goalkeeper Jonathan Bond helped England's under-21s beat Germany 3-2 at Middlesbrough last night. Former Luton youngster Cauley Woodrow was among the substitutes. World champion Lewis Hamilton expects to sign a new Mercedes contract this week that could be worth more than £27 million a year. The 30-year-old from Stevenage, who's been handling negotiations with team bosses himself, says talks are complete and the deal is being finalised by lawyers. More from James Allen.
30, Hamilton will probably have one more contract after this during his career. Staying at Mercedes was the obvious choice for now, as they have the best car, and this deal keeps him broadly aligned in value with the sport's other two leading drivers, Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso. Hamilton leads the Drivers' Championship after 2 rounds from Vettel, who surprised the Mercedes driver by beating him in Malaysia at the weekend.
And in Netball Super League last night, Hertfordshire Mavericks beat Bath 42-33. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
What was wrong with that fella? Was he like in a coffin or something?
He was speaking from a long way away. I'll get him to shout next
Please
time.
do, thank you.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kiss my e-cigarette. Hey, e-cigaretters. How's it going, huh? We've had beef. And you're all quite aggressive thugs. And I'm just sitting back and enjoying the fallout as predicted. So, there was a story a little while ago about e-cigarettes. Actually, they might be more dangerous than a lot of people have been suggesting. There. Okay, fine. Let that go on. Yeah, that's fine. Front page of the Mirror. E-cigs time bomb. Growing numbers of teenagers could be risking their health by getting hooked on e-cigarettes. Oh! Scientists warn. Oh, the ones in the white coats. The gadgets are marketed as being healthier than tobacco, and 16% of young users have never smoked cigs, yet vaping still exposes them to the addictive chemical nicotine. Oh yeah, but nicotine's in aubergines. Kiss that, you idiots. What a terrible argument. And toxins that harm the lungs. Professor Mark Bellis warned we should be very concerned about teenagers accessing e-cigarettes. Oh, should we? Oh, what have I been saying for the last year? That. Yeah, you vapists. You vapists. Oh, no. Well, but there's nicotine in aubergines. Oh, is that the best argument you've got? Oh, sorry, I'll turn your microphone on now.
How many aubergines do they get through in a day? Also, if anyone does use these things, is there a limited period, or do you just, like, suck on it all day long?
You can suck on it all day long.
Well, then how do you know how much you're having?
You refill it, don't you? Or charge it up.
Right. Because at least with a cigarette, there is a finite period.
Does anyone use a cigarette lighter in their car to light cigarettes anymore? That's the hottest thing in the world.
Don't touch that.
It's only hot for like a second and a half. But man alive, that's the hottest thing in the world. Wowzers. All I'm saying is, vapists who've been bullied... In fact, I'm tempted to unblock. How do I unblock people on Twitter?
I think you just go through and unblock them.
Well, it's going to take me about 2 hours. I've blocked loads of people.
Yeah, but it depends how badly you want to hear from them.
I'm going to unblock all the vapists. And you can come and you can blow your vapour in my face and then apologise for being complete and utter cheeses. What you got?
Benefits probe into darts feet by blind man.
Ooh, there's so many things there. There's a probe, there's darts feet, and there's blind.
A blind man played so well in a charity darts marathon. Let's just bask in the glory of that. A charity darts marathon. That's a lot of hours.
Innit?
That he was investigated over disability benefit fraud. Robert Boone, pictured, there's a picture of him there. Look, there he is with his darts.
He doesn't look blind. He's got glasses on.
He scored 61,000 points.
That's not possible.
In the 10-hour feat.
OK.
Including a 180. The maximum possible with 3 darts, leading to some to question whether his vision was really impaired.
Yeah.
The 50-year-old is registered blind with no sight in one eye and only shadows visible on the other. But he had played darts as a child and said the repetitive throwing action of the game meant he was able to achieve a reasonable degree of accuracy without seeing the board.
You've got to be able to look at the board, you plum.
So he was stunned to discover that a member of the public had reported him to the Department for Work and Pensions.
Oh, dear.
Mr. Boone, who'd arranged the event to raise money for the training of 2 guide dogs, was called to a meeting. Oh, that is mean, isn't it? So he's arranged the charity darts match and someone's grassed him up.
It gets even more suspicious.
He was called to a meeting by the DWP to assess his
How did he know where to go?
Dunno, but he felt humiliated.
Is that the end of the story? Can't
There's loads more, but I mean, it's mean, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they have. I tell you what's mean, right?
Go on.
I tell you what's mean.
Tell me what's mean.
I tell you what's mean.
Tell me what's mean.
Everybody is just doing an excuse to put pictures of Poldark in the papers. He's in the Mail with his chest out. Have you seen it, Kelly?
No.
OK.
And he's running mascara.
And his floppy hair, and the woman painting his body because it's painted, it's not a real tan, and he looks... It's disgusting. Anyway.
Let me tell you something.
Please.
That man gives me not even a flicker. In the old ovaries section. Not a thing.
Not a flick?
Nothing.
There's not a flick at all for Poldark? Really?
Poldark leaves me coldark.
Coldark, not a flick for Poldark, says Catherine Boyle. Poldark hunk Aidan Turner.
Debatable.
Was bombarded with marriage proposals and raunchy questions at a Q&A session yesterday. Viewers fell for Aidan, 31, when he stripped in the BBC period drama this month. Well, that's unfortunate. And he faced questions like, how do I refrain from licking my TV, and can you scythe my lawn topless? Oh, dearie me, that is outrageous. Did you see this, that Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys did a Q&A on Twitter yesterday, and I will rephrase it. One young woman asked him, Brian, did you... sleep with my mother? And he replied, "I don't know. Send me a picture and I'll tell you yes or no." How cool! He's in his 70s. He's in his 70s.
He won't be able to remember.
He didn't. She didn't say sleep with. She said.
Yeah,
Well-
that's what we say now.
That's what
The
we
response
say.
was the
That's what
same.
kids say.
Shall we have a song, or do you want to do a petit filou?
Well, let's have a petit chanson and then we'll have a petit filou.
Huh?
Yeah, put a song on.
Look at her. She's a bad mamma jamma. Just as fine as she can be. Hey, she's a bad mamma jamma. Just as fine as she can be. Her body measurements are perfect in every dimension. She's got a figure that's shown of great attention. She's poetry in motion, a beautiful sight to see. I get so excited viewing her anatomy. She's real, oh, she's tight. Got all the curves a man like. She's real, oh, she's tight. Got all the curves a man like. Look at her, she's a bad mamma jamma. Just as fine as she can be. Hey, she's a bad mamma jamma. Oh, just as fine as she can be. Looks like she's born into the grove she ran. The essence of beauty, ooh, such lovely hair. She's boxy classy, oh, sexy sassy. She's heavenly, a treat for the eye to see. She's real. Oh, she's stacked. Got all the curves a man like. Oh, she's real. Oh, she's stacked. Got all the curves a man like. Ooh, wee. She's a bad mamma jamma. Ooh, she's bad. Just as fine as she can be.
Is it about a gap year?
She's a bad mamma jamma. Just as fine as she can be. She's got all the curves a man like. Her body measurements are perfect in every dimension. She's got a figure that's shown a bit of attention. She's poetry in motion, beautiful sight to see. I get so excited viewing her anatomy. She's real, oh, she's stacked. Got all the curves a man like. She's real, oh, she's stacked. Got all the curves a man like. Look at her, she's a bad mamma. Just as fine as she can be. Oh, she's a bad mamma. Just as fine as she can be.
I knew I was meant to be doing something as this song got quieter, and that was broadcast.
Yes.
Petit filou.
Yes.
Petit filou.
Beaucoup de petit filou.
Bonjour.
A 4-year-old girl has refused to eat anything other than yoghurt and a special sort of yoghurt, the petit filou, since she was weaned off milk. Emily Lee Hayward's fussy eating extends not just to the type of food she eats, but even the brand and flavours. Bursts into tears if her mum tries to get her to eat anything else. 30 a day.
This is insane. I've blocked 836 people on Twitter.
I don't want to get too Gillian McKeith at this time of the morning, but her stools must be a disgrace. I mean, that's not normal, is it?
The thing is, as well, it comes down to, and I don't want to go all Steve Allen, but I'm going to, bad parenting.
I'm going to wade in as well. We just played Bad Mama Jamma.
Yeah, well, that's a bad mama...
Just
yogurt.
Don't give her anything else. My kids would eat cake every day.
Let them eat cake.
And nothing else.
Let them eat cake.
No.
A queen said that.
They have to eat the proper food first.
Oh, you're one of them.
Yeah. I have a rule. They don't have to finish the plate, but there has to be more plate than food left.
What's the plate made out of? Huh?
Eh?
How much... Why are they eating a plate?
No, they're not. But there has to be more plate. I have to be able to see more plate than food.
It's the thing, guys. If your kids only eat petit falou, they're sure they can have petit falou.
They're going to turn French apart from anything else.
You can have a petit falou if you want to have a petit falou. Of course you can. Eat your blooming dinner first.
Yeah.
Eat your dinner. You don't want it? I'm not going to force them to eat. I'm not going to give them a complex about it.
No.
But you're not having petit falou. Thing is, as well, if she don't get her petit falou, then she'll get hungry. She'll eat something.
Exactly.
She'll eat something.
That's what they say, don't they? Hunger makes good sauce.
I don't know what that means.
I'll explain it to you during the travel.
Thank you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's starting to build up between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. And further afield on the M25 clockwise, the Tikiri 2 bridge has been closed because of the strong winds, so traffic's being diverted using the Dartford Tunnel, but there are queues from the A127. In Cuffley on Northall Road West, that's been closed in both directions because a tree's fallen down between Kettlegate Road and Station Road, and also in Woburn Sands on Cranfield Road, that's blocked in both directions between Station Road and Lower End Road because of a fallen tree. On the trains, Thameslink have possible delays between Bedford and Brighton because of a signalling problem, and on the London Underground, the Piccadilly line is suspended between Hammersmith and Acton Town, and that's because of power problems. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, Sammy. 6:46, it's Tuesday the 31st of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. Another charity says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they're addicted to online pornography. And another charity case, making a football joke, Stevenage drew 1-1.
Oh.
I don't get it.
Careful.
At League Two leaders Burton last night. Here's the weather with Kate.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, after a very blustery night last night, we're in for another very windy day. The Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place for the strong gusty winds, 50, 60 mile per hour gusts possible throughout the course of this morning. Also accompanied by some very heavy, squally, blustery showers. So it's really not going to feel too pleasant if you're caught out in one. Could get a bit of hail mixed in there as well. But between these showers, we should get some sunshine. The maximum temperature just 12 Celsius. It is going to feel a bit chillier due to the wind direction. Now, overnight tonight, the strong winds will ease a little, not entirely, but they will ease enough. Now, the temperature's dropping down to 3 as the sky clears as well. So frost prevented because we're hanging on to a bit of a breeze, but it is still going to be a chilly one, and a chilly start to Wednesday. Some sunshine at first, but cloud moving in from the west. Could see some showers tomorrow afternoon. Still going to be breezy throughout tomorrow, just less so than today. The maximum temperature for Wednesday, 11 Celsius. And that's your forecast.
Listen up, people of the...
I can't be bothered with that. I can't be bothered with this as well. This intrigues me, so we're going to play a snatch. We're going to have a snatch, OK?
It's going to be awful.
It's going to be awful, Justin. We're going to have a snatch.
Hey, boss, it's windy out here today.
OK, mate.
OK.
We've just had the weather, mate. That's all we know.
I know, but I'm actually on the streets. I'm not in the studio. I'm on the streets, OK?
That reminded me, as I drove in today, I thought of the phone in.
Guys?
What if you had blown off? Because the bins were all over the shop. I had to drive round them.
Yeah, it's terrible.
What's this snatch you're on about, Iain?
What's blown off? 08459 455 555.
Well, me yesterday. Terrible. But I taught my boys 2 things yesterday.
Go on.
Proud.
To pull my finger.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was hilarious.
You're such a cheeky
And
boy.
I taught them what cutting the cheese means.
That's all quite late.
I know, my wife's posh. I had them on my own all day. I got bored. I corrupted them. Anyway, boys, pull my finger. They were in hysterics. But then they kept trying to pull my finger too much, and I ended up very sore. So, this is listed.
You've got to be careful with your condition.
I know. Justin knows it more than anybody else here.
There could be repercussions.
Van Morrison, And Michael Bublé.
Oh, what?
Let's just have a little...
Hang on, the nice guy and the nasty guy.
Oh, which is which?
Yeah.
That... Oh, hang on a minute. Let's have a listen. Hang on.
Well, I'm real gone. I got hit by a bow and arrow.
Okay.
Got me down to the very marrow.
Cut it down to the very marrow.
And I'm real gone now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Bublé. Told you.
Nah, I mean, it's just... It's just...
Quite enjoyed that snatch.
Yeah, you would do, mate. That's your kind of vibe. Your kind of vibe.
What are you saying?
Just saying you like rubbish sometimes.
I'm saying to you, behave yourself.
I'm saying to you,
No,
you're going to
whoa,
get
whoa,
a
whoa.
slap.
Let's listen. Behave yourself, because you might have a little visit later on from a clown. Yeah. Now you're being a nice guy.
Justin.
Yes.
Oh, there's not a lot today.
Well, I've got something for you for later on, which you might quite like. I know you're really looking forward to having our cat expert in the studio later.
I've got no idea why that's
Cat
happening.
chat.
Yeah, cat chat.
Local.
I've been on the streets and I've been asking people, do you talk to your cat? If so, what do you talk to your cat about? I think you might like that.
I was talking to my cat. I talk to my cat all the time. She was taking up the whole bed last night.
What are you saying?
I was saying, oi, Velves, move your bum. Velves. What?
You shorten her name.
Well, yeah, of course.
Bit rude, isn't it?
No,
I bet she thinks you're over familiar.
No, Kay. J-Dog? No, we're short names. Velvet. It gets shortened to
It's
Velvet.
human beings,
to
not
Velves.
cats.
Oh, come on, mate.
No, you come on.
You come on.
No, you come on.
Come on. Come on. No. I say, you're the man who spent an hour trying to get a selfie with his mum's dog.
Yeah, I was doing that for the public.
Anyway, I was talking to Velves last night because she was taking up a lot of the bed, and then my youngest got in bed with me, and she doesn't normally go near him, but at night time when he's sleepy she will, so he was talking to her.
All right, do you talk to Velves, as you call her? do you talk to Velves about how she's feeling?
If she looks sad, I do, yeah, of course.
Okay, right.
How does a cat look sad?
Like that.
Yeah, but that's what they look like. I'm sad. Oh, right.
She says
You're
it.
coming across a bit like a VF this morning, a box face.
You're going to come across as a PF, a punched face.
Okay.
After you brought the breakfast face.
Funny enough, we had that conversation last week when you weren't here. What would happen if you punched me? I think we'd probably shake hands and move on.
Well, there's not a lot. I mean, there's Mr. Bean in jeans. There's e-cigarette time bomb.
Here's one.
Go on.
And this is, and again, apologies, but it's the papers are doing it, not me.
Yes.
A man has left a farthing for his wife in his will after she called him a rotten old pig because he broke wind.
Hey!
Now, there are some couples.
She pulled his finger.
There are some couples who have never done that in front of each other.
I haven't. Wouldn't do it in front of my wife.
Really?
Yeah, wouldn't.
I wish my husband wouldn't.
Really?
They're they don't care in his side of the family. I still think it's kind of, something you keep to yourself.
Can I just say, all critics of me, it's Catherine that's doing this, not
No, it's
me.
not.
So
It's the
Facebook.
Son. It's the son. So, what I would...
We're not asking Justin to go and ask people, have you farted in front of your partner?
It's a windy day.
No, we're not. No.
Are we doing this, guys?
No, we're not doing this. I forbid it. Even I forbid it.
All right, then. What do you not do in front of your partner?
The choice is, Justin, what have you not done in front of your partner and what's blown off, but not you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. The rules are simple. I'll take it to the streets.
Speak to you
Do
later.
you know what? I'll see what happens.
Ta-ra.
Cheers.
Ta-ta. Jamie's in Luton. Morning, Jamie.
Morning, mate.
Oh, you got... Oh, flipping it.
What do you not do in front of your partner?
Take my wallet out.
Yay! Jamie, can I have a word with you, mate?
No worries.
Strictly mano a mano.
Go on then.
Yeah? Why were you sending sexually suggestive tweets to Kelly Betts yesterday, mate? What was that all about?
You've lost me.
Chaka Khan? Chaka Khan?
That's the next song of the verse.
The next what?
That's the next lines of the verse that she was singing.
Well, yeah, but it was a little bit creepy. What was the exact line? I want to...
Bad feeling you.
I want to touch you, want to feel you, want to make you feel good in my arms.
And that.
Baby, when I look at you,
Yeah.
There
I
you
get
go.
a warm feeling inside.
Say that again, Kelly.
Baby, baby, when I look at you, I get a warm feeling inside.
OK, and Jamie, can you say that? Because I think that there is a way that you present yourself that means that actually we are missing a niche.
Don't think I can say that.
Come on, Jamie, you can say it.
Grumpy songs.
Can't do it.
Come on, Jamie.
Can't do it, Ian.
Jamie, come on, do it.
No, I've got to be angry today.
What?
Got to be angry today.
Why are you angry?
Too windy?
Because I'm at work.
So, you don't sound angry. You sound just as your bored, slightly disinterested self.
Nah, I've got a crazy thing for you anyway.
Oh, I like crazy stuff. Yeah, let's have it.
M11 Friday. There was 3 workmen on the hard shoulder trying to do a pothole in between the traffic, driving over it at 50, 60 mile an hour.
Wow.
That is crazy.
That's extreme pothole filling.
That is crazy, isn't it?
But they were waving at the drivers as they was coming to them to, like, slow down. But why wouldn't you just put cones up and sort of cordon it off?
When have you not put cones up and cordoned things off when you should have put cones up and cordoned things off? 08459 455 555. Thank you, Jamie.
Baby, when I look at you, I get a warm feeling inside.
And I'm real, real gone. I'm real gone. Oh, Lord, I got hit by a bow and arrow. Got me down to the very marrow. You're a friend of mine. Yeah, I'm real, real gone. Yeah, I'm real, real gone. I'm real gone. What's the frickin' said in the midnight hour? It's when my love comes thumping down. Sullenberg said, if you need me, why don't you call me?
Van Morrison, been making the same song for 45 years now.
Baby, when I look at you,
What?
I get a warm feeling inside.
Kelly?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Strong winds are causing some problems this morning. In High Wycombe on Amersham Road, that's been blocked by a tree that's fallen down between Magnolia Dean and Totteridge Lane. In Cuffley, Northaw Road West is blocked by a tree that's fallen down between Cattlegate Road and Station Road. And in Woburn Sands on Cranfield Road, that's closed in both directions between Station Road and Lower End Road. On the motorways, the M25 anti-clockwise is slow between junction 21 for the M1 and 19 for Watford. And further afield, clockwise, the QE2 bridge is closed, so traffic's being diverted through the Dartford Tunnel instead. On the trains, Thameslink have possible delays between Bedford and Brighton because of a signalling problem, and the Piccadilly line has severe delays between Hammersmith and Acton Town. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sammy, you all right, my love?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
We've not spoken properly for a while. It's been a bit busy. You all right?
I'm good.
I don't want you to, yeah, I'm all right. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right, then. Speak to you later, my love. Ta-ta.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines warning that council tax bailiffs upset the kids. NSPCC highlights children viewing online pornography, and draw for Stevenage at League leaders.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. According to the Children's Society, last year in Bedford there were 57 bailiff visits per 1,000 households, and in Welwyn Hatfield there were 47. More from Tony Fisher.
The charity says the majority of those families who had a bailiff sent round left their child frightened, sad or worried. It recommends helping families get back on their feet by giving them more advice rather than threatening struggling households. Across the whole of England, the charity says councils sent out bailiffs 1.3 million times last year.
The NSPCC says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they're addicted to online pornography. Of these 700 youngsters questioned by Childline, 1 in 5 had viewed pornography that has upset them. Kate Russell is a Hertfordshire-based technology reporter.
The main thrust of it is actually to say we need to stop making it uncomfortable to talk about this and actually start speaking to young people about what is and isn't safe and what is and isn't right and how it makes them feel, and accept the fact that kids are going to explore stuff online.
The economy is expected to be the focus for the two main Westminster parties again today as general election campaigning continues. The Conservatives will pledge to create 2 million jobs. Labour will promise to cut business rates in its first budget. A court in Malaysia has found a man guilty of killing 2 British medical students in Borneo last August. Neil Dalton and Aidan Brunga, who were both 22 and students at Newcastle University, were working at a hospital on the island when they were stabbed in a bar. More than 2,500 rail passengers have been prosecuted for fare dodging between 2013 and 14, according to the Crown Prosecution Service. But that doesn't include those given fixed penalty notices by train operators. Martin Abrams is from the Campaign for Better Transport.
The problem that we see day after day with our fares and ticketing system is that it's incredibly complicated to understand, and more often than not, people are buying the wrong ticket for a journey without really knowing and then getting a fixed penalty notice as a result.
Researchers say they're very concerned by a survey of 16,000 teenagers which found that 1 in 5 had bought or tried e-cigarettes. Of those, almost 1 in 6 had never smoked ordinary cigarettes. In sport, Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night, a result which leaves them just 2 points from a playoff place. The draw also moves Graham Westley's side level on points with Luton.
After the break, they came out and we had to weather a storm. We had to dig deep. We had to organise and show resilience. We had to run very, very hard on a very difficult surface, and I think the boys showed a terrific amount of commitment to bring the point home in the end.
And world champion Lewis Hamilton expects to sign a new Mercedes contract this week that could be worth more than £27 million a year. The weather: gale force winds to start the day in places, then bright or sunny spells and scattered blustery showers. A maximum temperature 11 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Morning, team. Cats, tax and porn. By coincidence, the title of my forthcoming autobiography. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, it's that time of the day. Every day, we go over to Catherine to see if she's got texts. She's doing a little chair dance.
I got a text.
Hey! How long have you been doing this job? 18 months. 18 months. And finally, you've managed to get the text machine.
I've done it about twice in the past 18 months,
Okay.
so...
Have we got any texts?
Are you cold in there?
Have we got... Wait, am I smuggling peanuts?
Yeah. With regard to council tax debts, this is about the story. The Children's Society is asking councils to stop sending bailiffs round to homes where there are children when they want to collect council tax debt.
Oh, yeah.
Nick doesn't have any sympathy. He says, I don't have sympathy with folk who can't or don't pay their way. If your personal circumstances change through losing a job, etc., then you tell the relevant authorities what's happened and agree a plan. If the bailiffs are knocking on your door, it's because you've buried your head in the sand and ignored the problem.
I don't have... I don't think I have sympathy for those who don't pay their way, although there may be exceptions. Surely you have to have sympathy for those who can't pay their way, don't you? Don't you? It seems a little cold. Those who can't pay their way, and, you know, it can happen really quickly. You can be living, you know, paycheck to paycheck, and if that disappears, you can be stuffed. Or also, it can be terrifying.
There's also a possibility that a lot of these people think they'll be able to sort it out. And so that maybe they don't address it because they think, no, I'm not at that point yet, I will be able to sort it out. It's not until the knock comes on the door that they realise that it's gone too far.
Anything else?
That'll do for now, I think.
OK, thanks very much indeed. Well, a charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collecting unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. A new report by the Children's Society recommends helping families get back on their feet rather than threatening struggling households. Last year in Bedford, there were 57 bailiff visits per 1,000 households, and in Welwyn Hatfield, there were 47. Joining me now, Amy Gibbs from the Children's Society. Morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Why did you carry out this research?
So at the Children's Society, we work with families who are struggling, many living in poverty, and last year we found that parents told us councils were one of the most unhelpful creditors when it came to trying to deal with debts or with falling behind on your bills. So we did further research with parents and children, and what we found really worryingly is that councils are often rushing to send in aggressive and intimidating bailiffs to family homes to chase unpaid council tax, and that this is having a really, really damaging impact on children themselves, leaving them frightened, sad and worried, and with some children telling us about sleepless or stressful nights. And that's why the Children's Society is campaigning on this issue, and why we're calling for all councils to stop sending bailiffs to families with children.
A complete blanket ban on sending bailiffs to children, to families with children?
We are asking councils to stop sending in the bailiffs and instead to give families the chance to negotiate affordable repayments on their council tax bill, because of course they should pay their council tax back, but we want council to give them the time and space that they need to get back on their feet, and also to refer everyone falling behind on their bills into independent advice. Really worryingly, we found that 1 in 10 families weren't signposted by their council to get any advice. So it's really important that councils give families the advice they need so they can repay their council tax but protect their children rather than rushing to send in the bailiffs.
If you're swinging the lead, and of course I'm not suggesting that everybody is, but if you're a bit of a chancer and you know that your council isn't, if you don't pay your council tax and you've got kids, your council isn't going to send round the bailiffs, well, where's the incentive to pay?
So we've looked at councils that have limited the use of bailiffs with families that have children, and actually they've still collected council tax at higher than average rates. And the reality is that the families that we work with at the Children's Society are often struggling to make ends meet. They're cutting back on the basics. They're making impossible choices sometimes, such as whether to heat their homes or whether to put a hot meal on the table. And some of the parents we spoke to, they're actually taking on more debts from people like payday loan companies to pay their council tax back. They do want to pay their way, but they're struggling to provide for their children, and that's why it's so important that councils don't rush to enforcement action and rush to get the bailiffs knocking on the door, but give families that space and advice that they need to make affordable repayments so that their children aren't harmed.
Is it the bailiffs themselves that are causing the stress, or is it just the general lack of funds that's causing the stress in children?
So parents told us that when bailiffs came round, most of the time their children were in the house.
Send them upstairs to the bedroom.
Well,
isn't that the if the kids are picking up on the children's stress or the situation, that's surely bad parenting, isn't it?
The children and families that we spoke to, children had answered the door to bailiffs. They were aware of people coming round and asking for money, or they'd picked up the phone to debt collectors, and that's what's leaving children scared.
No, but they shouldn't be. I would imagine that a bailiff knocking on the door and an 8-year-old answers isn't going to go, "We've come here to get your telly." They'll say, "Is your mum and dad there?" Then that's the cue then for the mum and dad to send the kid upstairs.
One mum told us that she does stop their children answering the door. She stops them answering the door because she's really scared that there's a bailiff behind it.
That child, Amy, with the greatest respect, that child is getting stressed because of the messages the mum is giving her. If there aren't bailiffs knocking on the door, then it's not the bailiff's fault, is it?
The problem here, and one child we spoke to who's 12 talked about being aware of people coming in and taking things from the home, and of their neighbours having bailiffs coming round as well. This isn't an isolated problem.
Oh, so it's the neighbours.
The worry is that we found councils are rushing to send the bailiffs in, and that's the problem here. 1 in 5 families in council tax debt had a bailiff visit. That's very worrying, and councils should be looking at other options, like taking deductions directly from people's income, which is less damaging for children, but also, really importantly, when a bailiff visit happens, the cost of that bailiff visit is passed on to the family, meaning their debt gets bigger, they fall more and more into a debt trap. That's why councils must make sure they're negotiating with families, putting in place affordable repayment plans, looking at things like deductions from their wages or their benefits, so that it doesn't have this direct impact on children, because I'm sure no one would want children and teenagers to be living in fear of the next knock at the door.
Oh, Amy, I was with you, and that was a low blow at the end. That was a low blow at the end, because that's not completely fair, is it, really?
Well, at the Children's
Cheap
Society,
shot.
we work with... It's not a cheap shot.
Well, of course, that's a silly thing to say. I mean, no one wants children to be afraid of the next knock at the door, but that's a cheap shot, Amy. Come on. You were doing better than that.
We are calling for councils to make sure they're protecting their families. The children we spoke to are frightened. They are living in fear of the next knock at the door. That's why we're speaking out on this. It's really important, and that's why we want councils to stop rushing to send in the bailiffs and make sure they're supporting the families in their community.
Amy, thank you very much indeed. Amy Gibbs from the Children's Society. Let's go to a bailiff. Brian Lacoche, a certified bailiff based in Bedfordshire. Morning, Brian.
Good morning to you.
You're terrifying children.
Well, I'm not actually, because I'm no longer involved in that sort of work, but I have quite massive experience.
What are the guidelines surrounding bailiffs and families with children? Are there any?
Very much so. There was some new legislation came out in April last year, and in addition to dealing with the methods of collecting council tax, the Ministry of Justice issued a national standards document, which is not, of course, legislation, but any responsible and professional bailiff company or bailiff will have signed up to it, in addition to which Civia, the Bailiffs Association, have their own set of guidelines which mirror the national standards. What is more, councils will also make impositions on bailiffs in the way that they deal with matters, in particular relative to dealing with
what
children.
What are the guidelines, Brian? Sorry, you turn up at someone's house, you've got to collect £1,000 worth of equipment, and there's a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old there. What can you and what can't you do?
The national guidelines state that you must withdraw without doing anything. The only thing you might do is leave a letter in a sealed envelope. But even before that happens, I might say that under the new legislation, as I say, it's just a year old, the bailiffs have to send out a notice of enforcement by post or hand deliver it to the debtor's house, giving the debtor a minimum of 7 days, and usually it's up to 10 days because it excludes Sundays and bank holidays, for them to contact the bailiff, or for that matter the council, and come to an arrangement to pay. The use of a bailiff by councils is very much an option of of very last resort. Councils are becoming far more proactive themselves at collecting debt, and it's only the real small number of cases that are sent to bailiffs by council.
Brian, it can be, of course, by the very nature of having a couple of, and it's generalisation, but a couple of big burly blokes turning up saying we want £1,000 or we're going to take the telly. It can be intimidating and it can be upsetting, can't it? Of course.
Yes, I totally agree with that, and the Children's Society are a very worthy cause and organisation, but I do think they've been a bit headline grabbing here for reasons best known to themselves, and I'm somewhat circumspect about their figures and their data, because although we haven't got time probably to debate it here, it's my belief that councils do not keep data relative to what children in their household when they send the bailiffs out, and not all bailiffs, by the way, are burly, and they will not always be as it were, attending houses double-handed.
Brian, listen, I just want to bring Amy back in. Amy, you heard Brian there, former bailiff.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
Well, just on the point about our findings, this was based partly on a Freedom of Information request where councils told us about their frequency of using bailiffs, and sadly it doesn't seem that it is only in a handful of cases. Across the country, bailiffs were sent out 1.3 million times last year, and as I said earlier, 1 in 5 families in council tax debt had a bailiff visit, and the statistics we're talking about from parents and children are from a poll that we conducted with parents and children. So this is based on what people are telling us, that children are frightened, that bailiffs are being sent round too often, and that, you know, we want families to be able to repay their council tax debts, but councils must work with those families and not rush to send in the bailiffs as a first resort.
Amy, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Amy Gibbs from the Children's Society. The other voice you heard there was Brian Lacoche, certified bailiff. 08459 455 555. BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, the windy weather this morning is causing some serious problems for travel. So starting with the trains, Chiltern Railway are suspended between Aylesbury and Marylebone because of a tree on the line. In High Wycombe on the A404 Amersham Road, that's blocked in both directions between Magnolia Dean and Totteridge Lane. In Cublington Road's blocked between Cublington and Wing. And in Woburn Sands on Cranfield Road, that's blocked between Station Road and Lower End Road. In Cuffley on Northall Road West, that's blocked by a tree that's fallen down between Cattlegate Road and Station Road. And looking at the motorways, the M25 anti-clockwise has queues building up between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And further afield, the M25 clockwise has the Curie 2 bridge closed, so traffic is being diverted through the Dartford Tunnel. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 7:16. It's Tuesday, the 31st of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. The NSPCC says that 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they are addicted to online pornography. And in sport, Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night. What, the menswear shop?
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems.
I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
And helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds say they are worried they are addicted to online pornography. That's according to the NSPCC, who question over 700 adolescents. The charity says that childline callers suggest viewing porn is now a part of everyday life, and it's adding to the pressure to do things they're not ready for. Steve Pope is a psychotherapist who works with porn addicts as young as 10 years old. Steve, I'd be curious to see exactly what these young people were asked. Would a 12 or 13-year-old necessarily know that they were addicted to porn?
Well, I think they know these days when it's a problem, and certainly enough to the extent where more and more are talking to the parents about it and coming to see us. So,
for those who would be surprised by the phrase "addicted to porn," in your expert opinion, what does that mean?
Well, it's where it becomes a compulsion. Where, say, for instance, with a kid, they come in from school and instead of going on the laptop to see what the local Tottenham Arsenal result was, they're straight on getting a hit, getting a fix from looking at various internet sites, and that's what's happening. We might have problems with drugs, but with the drugs, you've got to find money, you've got to find a dealer. With internet porn, they get straight on and they get a rush, and the taboos, the porn levels, or the harder the porn goes higher and higher as they're looking for a bigger and bigger hit. That's the problem. And then they take the porn into reality, and that's when we get the acting out and the kids at risk.
We'll talk about the crossing over into reality in a little bit, but I'm such an old man, Steve, as I was saying earlier on, and it sounds like I'm being flippant. Yeah, well, exactly. Well, you know, in the 70s, you'd be lucky if you found a copy of Mayfair in the bushes. And I remember me and my mates watching our first porno film at the age of 14. Oh, it was flipping horrible, and it was, it was horrible, and it was unpleasant, but kids as young as 10, 11 and 12, I suppose, they're carrying it around in their pocket, or at least access to it all the time, aren't they?
Exactly, and what happens is, you've got peer group pressure. As you say, somebody found a copy of Mayfair in our day, or Men Only, I think was the thing, and they would, it would get shared around. The same thing's happening with social media. One kid will find a site. I've had it with my own kids the last couple of days. There's some site where you can find all different TV channels for free. So they've been told that by one kid, and then the next kid hears it, and the next kid hears it. So everybody's onto these sites, where they can, view normal TV, but for free, rather than going, So it's passed on very quickly, and that's the whole thing about the electronic media these days. And at the moment, there's no way of controlling it. The only way we'll ever control it is by going to the kids with something similar to what the NSPCC is saying, with cartoons, educating the kids, as we did with food. Jamie Oliver was, what Jamie Oliver did was he went in and educated the kids, who then educated the parents.
Is it? This is, you see, he's educating the kids, but doesn't that? I kind of think that a 12-year-old kid, the responsibility of what they are looking at comes down to the parents. I'm not going to let my boys have smartphones when they're 12 or computers in their room, and surely those parents that do, they should be installing things like NetNanny or K9, programs that have got really strict filters that block out that kind of stuff.
No, I agree entirely, but one of the problems we have with parents is that they haven't got a clue what you're talking about. I mean, I have to be honest, my 6-year-old daughter can educate me more on how to use the iPad or the iPhone than I can. She'll do things, set the phone up for me. So they're more computer aware, they're more media aware these days. So things have moved on so quickly that, the parents lag behind. So you're exactly right. But parents, you've got to be aware. Parents, when you send your child upstairs to play on the iPad and you get 2 hours peace, you've got to think, what the heck are they doing?
Hey, they're not. No, my boys are 5 and 3, so I'm a little way off. Yeah. But there's no way. There's no way they're taking. They don't use. They're not allowed to play on my phone. Their mum lets them play on their phone, which I don't approve of. But they're going to be watching the computer and using the computer when I'm in the room.
Yeah, and that's great, but you're a busy guy. You've got a show to prepare, great show to prepare. Your hours are fully committed. You can't be checking all the time, can you? When those kids get to 7 or 8, I tell you, mate, we've got our hands full.
I suppose so. Steve, you mentioned it, that just looking at these images had crossed over into acting out. Give us some examples of that.
Well, I spoke to, we had a classic early start to the day yesterday. A 12 and 13-year-old have been acting out scenes from 50 Shades of Grey. They're literally in the park on the roundabout, and the first thing is
hopefully the scene in the helicopter. What some of the rude stuff were they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the boy says to me, I said, whatever, Master X, why were you involved in this? He says, well, it's okay, isn't it? I mean, it's a film, it's a book. That's what adults do. And he said, so, I bring it into my life, and I was a bit shocked.
All right, isn't that though, Steve? Let me play devil's advocate. Isn't that the same as playing doctors and nurses like we did in the 70s? You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Well, I mean, there's a natural evolution in sexual awareness, but when you've got 12 or 13-year-olds experimenting with bondage and thinking it's normal to hit each other for gratification, we've got problems. And if you think kids are doing that, and especially this was going on in the local park, who do you attract to the park? The adult predators are going to be around if that's what kids are doing.
Yeah.
The whole thing, we're going to be aware of what legacies we're leaving our kids. And these...
Steve, sorry to interrupt. Just so you've got a client that turns up. It's a 13-year-old boy. He's addicted to pornography. He gets the rush from it. He's starting to, chase bigger and bigger thrills. Well, how do you deal with that? What would your treatment involve?
Well, what we do is we sit down. We take the picture of the world they see, their sexuality, the way they see sex, and we try and bring emotions into sex. We try and explain the good side, the bad side, the upside, the downside. And usually, as you said before, we bring parents and say, look, this is what's going on. And the kid may have the illness, the family wear the spots. It's a family thing. And sometimes, the kids are a lot easier to deal with than the parents, because...
Well, but then if you bring the family in and they don't know how to work the internet, there's a good chance they're then going to shame that kid, aren't they? Which is going to cause them a whole heap of problems 20, 30 years down the line.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that can't happen. If we've got any child, any teenager that has sexual issues, the worst thing you can do is shame them, castigate them, punish them. Because at the end of the day, we are the parents. We're responsible for those children, and and that's the word, responsibility. We have to monitor what they're doing. And
is this because the internet is still comparatively new, although there are probably at least one generation, maybe a couple, that have grown up always having the internet. Is this one of these things that's going to 20 years down the line we're going to be lined up with a load of really screwed up people?
It's possible, highly possible. We don't know. There's so many things coming along these days. E-cigarettes. We don't really know we don't know the ramifications of those, but they seem a good idea at the time.
No,
who knows?
Don't get me started on e-cigarettes, Steve. I've got beef with e-cigarettes. Steve, really good to talk to you. Keep on doing the good work. Thank you very much indeed. Steve Pope, psychotherapist, works with young kids who are addicted to porn. And of course it's an addiction, isn't it? Just like drugs can be, just like alcohol can be, just like shopping can be, just like food can be. It fires off endorphins in your brain. And your brain then gets wired up incorrectly. Catherine.
Yes.
Texas.
We have. Nick is back talking about this idea of keeping bailiffs away from homes where there are children.
Good morning, Nick.
He said we should stop police investigating or arresting parents then because they might upset the children. Have a good day. Snuffer's question: if a bailiff comes round at 10 a.m. on a Monday and an 8-year-old answers the door, why isn't that child at school?
Easter holiday, next.
And L, the previous government changed how they paid benefits to people who claim they used to pay rent and council tax directly to the council and landlord. The last government decided in their wisdom to pay people directly and hope they paid their bills. Perhaps some of the problems would be alleviated if the system was reversed. And
you can find a list of all candidates by going onto the internet somewhere. I don't think a bailiff is going to have a door open by a 10-year-old and go, "We've come to take your telly." They're going to say, "Is mummy or daddy there, please, my little princess?" Then they send the kid upstairs. If the kid is picking up on the parents' stresses, they're going to notice when they come downstairs and the PlayStation's gone, but...
The other thing is, I dare say there are other things going on when it gets to that point that will be worrying for the children.
Not many people buying our last guest.
No?
No.
Why?
Paul says, your guest says there's no way of stopping it, porn and kids. Turn off the internet. There are no excuses for kids looking at porn at home, bad, lazy parenting. Well, they'll look at it on their phones when they're out and about, and if they don't have phones or they have a blocker on that, they'll look at it on their mates. But... And kids are always going to be curious. Kids are going to want to look at sexual images. Of course they are.
I think it's about giving them a basis to judge it on, isn't it?
I swear to God, though, man, My boys, they are not getting smartphones until they're 16, maybe 15. They're not having computers in their room while they're living in my house.
My kids are they're not even having a TV in their bedroom.
And I am allowed to come and look at what they're doing at any point I like and go through their history. At any point I like.
Boys, if you're listening, I can show you how to delete.
No, don't!
What?
Don't encourage...
You wait when you've got kids.
Seriously, I don't understand. We did this before. We had loads of parents saying, well, my 10-year-old needs a phone, so I know that they've got to school okay. No, they don't need a phone for that.
My 6-year-old has started asking for one. She's got a friend who's got teenage sisters.
What's her number? I'll phone her up and tell... Oh, she hasn't got one.
She said, can I have an iPhone? I said, what for? Who are you going to ring? Well, I need it. What do you need it for? Playing Candy Crush?
There are so many paedophiles out there now. I need to know if my son is going to be... If I'm picking up my son... This was one of them last time. If I'm picking up my son from school and I'm going to be 20 minutes late, I need to phone him. No!
Don't be 20 minutes late.
Don't be 20 minutes late. Or make him do what I had to do. Sometimes my mum was an hour late. You just got to wait. And he's either old enough to make the decision, do I wait or do I start the journey home? Or he waits.
Well, no. What you do now is phones are installed in schools, right, generally?
Yeah.
Phone the school and say you're going to be late.
Kids don't need... Kids... Right, here we go.
Kids don't need phones.
I'm going to give you the statement you discuss. Someone try and prove me wrong on this statement. Kids don't need phone. 08459 unless, of course, they're going to phone me now. But they can use yours. Oh, wait, unlock take the padlock. We used to have phones with padlocks on. Not my house, although we had one phone and it was on the phone table in the hallway.
In the hallway?
You had to ask permission to use it. It was a big deal when a phone got installed in Mum's room. But...
And do you remember when your girlfriend or boyfriend would ring up?
No.
Oh, embarrassing.
I don't.
It's for you. It's a boy.
Or my friends had a phone. It had a lock. There was a lock with a key was in the number 1, so you couldn't dial. Yeah, you worked out you could tap the receiver and you could make a phone call like that, but that was tricky.
Phones weren't interesting then anyway. They were too long to have to dial.
Exactly.
And wait for it all to go back round and then dial. If you were calling the police, you were there for ages.
Imagine how long it took to send a text doing that.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In High Wycombe, Amersham Road is blocked in both directions between Magnolia Dean and Tartaridge Lane because the tree's fallen down. And in Cublington, on Cublington Road, that's also blocked between Cublington and Wing for the same reason Chris called to say. In Woburn Sands, Cranfield Road's blocked between Station Road and Lower End Road. In Cuffley and Northwell Road West is closed between Kettlegate Road and Station Road. That's all because of fallen trees. On the M25 anti-clockwise, there are queues between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And the QE2 bridge on the M25 clockwise is closed with traffic using the Dartford Tunnel instead, but it's causing queues from the A127 at Romford. On the trains, Chiltern Railway are suspended between Aylesbury and Marylebone because of an obstruction on the line. Samantha Breff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. The NSPCC says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they're addicted to online pornography, and the economy is expected to be the focus for the two main Westminster parties again today as general election campaigning continues.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night, a result which leaves them just 2 points from a playoff place. The draw also moves Graham Westley's side level on points with Luton.
We had a solid draw at Cambridge. We'd had a solid draw at Wycombe before that. We had a solid draw at Exeter. I think in all those games, nobody could have complained if we won the points. And, you know, it would have been one of those games tonight. If we'd have come away 1-0 victors, scoring from a set play and then showing resilience and determination away from, it would have been a great victory. But those 4 draws, you know, the best sides always talk about not getting beaten on their travels, trying to win but not getting beaten, and you know we're doing that at the moment, so that's positive.
Tottenham striker Harry Kane will start for England for the first time in tonight's friendly against Italy in Turin. Captain Wayne Rooney is looking forward to playing alongside him.
I think we all are. It's a big opportunity for Harry to start the game. Obviously he done great when he come on Friday night, so a different test against a good Italy team will be a big test for him, and hopefully he does well. It's a big game for us all, but his first start in Italy will be tough, and hopefully hopefully I'm sure he'll be ready for that and excited to play.
And Watford goalkeeper Jonathan Bond helped England's under-21s beat Germany 3-2 at Middlesbrough last night. Former Luton youngster Cauley Woodrow was among the substitutes. World champion Lewis Hamilton expects to sign a new Mercedes contract this week that could be worth more than £27 million a year. The 30-year-old from Stevenage, who's been handling negotiations with team bosses himself, says talks are complete and the deal is being finalised by lawyers. More from James Allen.
At 30, Hamilton will probably have one more contract after this during his career. Staying at Mercedes was the obvious choice for now, as they have the best car, and this deal keeps him broadly aligned in value with the sport's other two leading drivers, Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso. Hamilton leads the Drivers' Championship after 2 rounds from Vettel, who surprised the Mercedes driver by beating him in Malaysia at the weekend.
And in Netball Super League last night, Hertfordshire Mavericks beat Bath 42-33. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll. There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end.
That's better. Sorry, guys. We're just the clown had arrived, and how's your clown?
Delicious.
Dennis?
Good morning, Ian. Thank you for that song.
Yeah,
that's a great one. Get out, throw the kids out and tell them to go and find a new life.
They're only 5 and 3, Dennis. It's a little bit harsh.
I know, now is the time for exams. They start to explore.
I had a good day yesterday. It's half term, right? So, my wife was working yesterday, so I had the kids, and I was so tired, Dennis. I was tempted to spend the day watch. By the way, parents, I sympathise and empathise with all of you that have watched Paddington 25 times since Friday, because it came out on DVD, and I was tempted just to bung Paddington on again, and I didn't, Dennis. I went to Savile Gardens. There's an unfortunate name. And we took the boys. I took the boys on an Easter trail where they had to follow clues, and they got an Easter egg at the end. And the woman, I thought it would take about 45 minutes. The woman said it would take an hour and a half. It took us 2.5 hours. They were knackered. And I sent Catherine a picture, because by the end they were flagging. And I sent Catherine a picture of them, like, miles away behind me, because I was going, boys, come on, we're nearly there. And I was looking at the map. We weren't anywhere nearly there. I was lying. I was doing a dad lie. It was good fun, though. It was good fun, Dennis.
You should have called it a day way before that point and just given him an Easter egg, said, you won!
Well, the thing is, we ended up... I thought it was too long. They should have done 3 routes, like a ABC, and then we would have done the A one. But because it wasn't until we were literally the furthest point away from the building that I looked at the map and thought, oh, flip it. And they were really tired. I thought, oh, flipping it. It's going to be quicker to carry on the journey rather than turn back. It was horrible. But the kids loved it. And my eldest had his first ever wee in a stream. So he just stood in a stream wearing his Wellingtons. He said, I need a wee. I said, well, where you go, son? Really? Hey, how do I wash my hands? You're in a stream. Beautiful. It's nature, Dennis.
Well, teach him not to pee on his hands and he wouldn't have to wash them.
Exactamundo, Officer Fonzarelli. What you got for us, Den?
I was just saying, the children with these telephones, give them my telephone, 2 cocoa tins, a long piece of string. Let them go on adventure. Well, you don't need to listen to the blasted phone all the time.
Do you know what? That's not a bad idea, and that's what I might do with the gentleman later on. Get a couple of tin cans and a piece of string. They'll love that.
Well, that's what it's all about. Tell them to invent a telephone.
Well, I don't need to invent it, Dennis. They've been invented 100 odd years. So?
Not that sort of phone, they haven't. No.
Dennis, thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Try. That's what we'll do. Just need to get some tin cans from somewhere.
Tin can shop?
Yeah.
Tin can alley.
Tin can alley. I always wanted that. Never got it.
No. Well.
Any texts?
Your news clip, says Pete in Mark 8, says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are addicted to pornography. Does this mean that my 11-year-old is immune for the time being?
Oh,
cheeky.
Cheeky? Oh, look at Kelly waited. This is why Kelly's so good. She waited to finish her mouth full before answering the telephone call there.
Yeah. Do you know, I'm really surprised we've had no people ringing up and defending their right to give their children a telephone.
Because they know they can't.
Well, no, a lot of people think it's an absolute necessity.
No.
I don't get it. You don't get it.
No, kids shouldn't have telephones. Kids don't need telephones.
08459 455 555.
Here we go. George has tweeted. Bit of food for thought. When you're watching your first Blue movie at 14, where did your parents think you were? Is that my mate's Malcolm house? I say 14, we might have been 15. We were around about then. Possibly 15. It was around about then. Well, they thought I was out with my friends, which I was. It was me, it was Bob, it was Malcolm, it was Wayne. I think Wayne supplied it. And we were at Malcolm's house, and we watched it, and it was called... oh, no, I can't say what it was called.
But what I love is what the children were called. That is an array of 70s kids' names, isn't it? Bob, Malcolm... Iain and Wayne.
And it was fascinating. It was fascinating, being completely honest. It was horrible, though, and we were all there going, oh, my God.
The people in it were always really unattractive, weren't they?
No.
And the man wasn't really selected for looks.
No. It was anyway. Kev's on the line. Good morning, Kev.
Morning, Ian. So what happened yesterday?
When?
I just got on the end of that. You said about your little kids.
Yeah.
You've got little kids, haven't you?
Oh, that's correct, Kev. That's weird.
Yeah, and you were going to take them out for a walk.
Yeah.
You were taking them out and spending time with them.
Yeah.
Why were you wanting to take them up the A1? What was all that about?
I didn't know. What, the A1?
Yes.
I didn't take them up what?
No, there were 2 little dogs walking on the A1.
No, that was yesterday. I was just wondering if
Lead it out.
Fell of the little hobo.
Let's just pause.
Pause?
That's
good.
Thank you. I took them, Kev, to Savile Gardens. Unfortunate name.
Right, OK. And if there'd been 3 routes, A, B and C, you would have taken them up the A1.
I would have taken them on the shorter route.
Yeah, up the A1. That's where the dogs were yesterday.
Leave it out. No, pause.
That's rough.
That's bad.
Thanks for your call, Kev.
No problem.
No problem, no sense.
Was Kev trying to do a funny there?
He was doing a... Come on.
He was trying to squeeze out a funny.
My dad, says Anne-Marie, gave me a phone at 11. I had to text every day when I got to school and again when I left. Was in trouble if I didn't. Well, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Surely, if you don't get to school... The school will let your dad know eventually. This is part of the thing. Do you know what? In 20 years' time, we're going to have a generation that is even more screwed up than my generation because there'll be no trust. They won't have learnt trust. No. Your kids going to school at the age of 11 and they're making their own way there.
They'll expect surveillance at all times.
Yeah, exactly. They won't be able to think or do anything for themselves because they'll have to report in. Oh, I don't know what. My generation is rubbish at DIY because my parents never taught it to me, and I'm sure we're screwed up sexually for some reason. But boy, oh boy, the kids now in 20 years' time are going to be screwed up sexually, emotionally, in terms of trust, in terms of independence, in terms of going out and doing stuff on their own. My boys were climbing trees yesterday, and a mum came along with her boy. And she started to... the boy started to climb the tree, copying my voice. Justin, get down now!
Justin?
I don't know, I've made that name up.
No.
Get down now! Get off that tree! And my boys looked shocked. I said, carry on, boys, you carry on. You ignore that silly old sausage.
As long as they're not breaking it.
Yeah. I mean, they broke it, yeah, they broke it.
Oh, that is bad then.
They broke the tree.
That was a Queen's tree, wasn't it?
Aye!
I'm going to tell her.
08459 455 555. Coming up next... Talking cats. Have I got that story right?
Yeah.
OK. Oh, hang on.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the trains, the wind's causing some major problems, so London Midland services are suspended between St Albans and Watford Junction because there's an obstruction on the line, and there's a replacement bus, though, taking passengers between Watford Junction and St Albans. On Chiltern Railway, that's suspended between Aylesbury and Marylebone because of a tree on the line, and on the roads in High Wycombe on the A404 Amersham Road, that's blocked in both directions between Magnolia Dean and Totteridge Lane. Other roads being affected by the weather this morning in Cublington Road is closed between Cublington and Wing. Woburn Sands is at Cranfield Road closed between Station Road and Lower End Road. In Cuffley on the Northall Road West, that's closed between Kettlegate Road and Station Road. And having a look at the motorways, it's quite busy on the M25 anti-clockwise with queues between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And further afield, the QE2 bridge is closed on the M25 clockwise. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah. 7:45. It's Tuesday, the 31st of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. The NSPCC says 1 in 10, 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they are addicted to online pornography. And in sport, Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Well, it was a very blustery night last night, some very strong gusts of wind, and it's going to continue today. The Met Office has a yellow weather warning in for the strong winds. In the last hour or so, across all three counties, we've seen gusts ranging between 40 and 55 miles per hour, so some very strong gusts, and they're going to continue. We've also got 1 or 2 showers as well, just working their way in. Some fairly heavy ones on their way as well. We could get a bit of hail in there, but between them, some sunshine, and a maximum temperature of 12 Celsius. So for night, the strongest of winds will die down a little. They're not going to disappear, but they will fall a little lighter. The sky should clear as well as those showers clear out. The minimum temperature down to 3 Celsius, but because we're hanging on to the wind, we should prevent a frost from falling. So tomorrow morning, it is going to be fairly chilly, bright and sunny at first, but cloud pushing in from the west with some showers in the afternoon. The wind still noticeable tomorrow, just not quite as window rattly. The maximum temperature for Wednesday, 11 Celsius, 52 degrees in Fahrenheit, and that's your forecast.
Monday Night Sport is a sports programme unlike any other.
I love going somewhere where the sport takes place.
Go to the judo club in Aylesbury where he almost got strangled to death.
He's just about to get flung in the air and crash to the floor.
Yes, it is about sport, but it's also about us two having a bit of a giggle at the same time.
Anywhere on the green, he's got one over on Lucy, the US Open competitor. Oh, I think we can see that.
We've had some great ones.
I thought the wakeboarding was just tremendous, because that is so far out of our comfort zone.
I don't quite know how I fell off, but I think it was something to do with the balance.
And of course, you can see all the videos on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BBC3CR.
Three Counties Sport on BBC Three Counties Radio. Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now I'm very excited. Look, is that a boy or a girl we've got there?
That's a boy.
That's a boy. Okay, and all right, but that's a big cat.
It is indeed.
Who is this, please?
This is Alexander.
Oh, what a good name. Hello, Alexander. No, Alexander's free to roam if Alexander wants to. What does?
Well, I think I'll just hold on a little bit of an eye on him.
He's gone back in the box.
He will keep coming back out again.
Now, you introduce yourself, veterinarian. What is your full name?
My full name is Anne-Marie Svensson Aylott.
Lovely.
I'm a vet with the Wheelhouse Veterinary Centre.
Okay.
And we're here today because I work with Hannah Grice from Walk the Dog.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges is that there's a lot of workshops and other things out there which are about dogs.
Yeah.
And have you ever noticed how there's a lot of attention around dogs as well?
I don't like dogs. I don't like dogs. I'm a cat person.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know, I do have a dog as well, I must say. I like both cats and dogs.
Okay.
So we decided that we wanted to do something specifically around cat behaviour.
Yeah.
Because cats and dogs actually talk very differently.
Okay.
Which is why cats and dogs so often misunderstand each other.
Alexander. You've got a scratch on your arm. Is that from Alexander on your right arm? There's a
God,
little.
No. This is one of the regular occurrences of being a veterinarian.
Now you're doing a half-day workshop called Chat Cat.
Yes.
Cat Chat.
Cat chat or cat behaviour. Yeah.
And what happens in it?
A couple of things. First of all, we look around some of the conversations of how cats talk specifically, and especially how they're different from what humans do and from what dogs do.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of videos. Alex is going to be there, probably his younger friend Tucker, who is also a Somali.
Yeah.
And we're also going to be looking at sort of just answering specific questions that people have.
What do you mean by cat chat? What does that mean?
It means...
Because it sounds nuts.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was thinking? It sounds almost as if we're thinking that we can talk to our cats sort of in our heads.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not about that. It's about looking at the body language.
Okay.
And it's very much about looking at the eyes.
Uh-oh.
Because this is what's different between cats and humans. Have you seen that YouTube clip that's been going around, about soldiers coming back from Afghanistan?
No, I've seen the one where the cat's dressed as a shark riding a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, I like that one.
That's a good one, isn't it?
That is so funny.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that one as well. But there's one that's been all sorts of things on with dogs coming, where soldiers come back and the dogs are ecstatic. And they put one on where it was cats.
Yeah.
And basically the cats were like, whoa, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And that was all in the body language. Because when we, as humans, we meet somebody that we really like, we look at them, we smile, we lean forward, we go to, maybe to shake their hands.
Yeah.
If you do that to a cat, you're essentially saying to the cat, I'm going to come and attack you. So the cat goes, that's it, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And that's why the clip works that way. So we're going to talk at some of those things.
Now, Alexander has gone away from me. Where's he gone?
He's right underneath me, down here.
Now, there he is. I can see him. What have I done wrong? Why is Alexander not coming to embrace me as the cat lover that I am?
Two things. First of all, he's saying this is a strange environment, and cats are very cautious, so they always want to explore the environment before they do everything else.
Yep.
And also, you're looking straight at him.
Uh-oh. Where should I be looking?
You should just basically, exactly like you're doing now, looking a little bit to the side.
Looking to the floor.
And just slowly close your eyes so that you do exactly, we call it a double wink or a cat smile.
Or a blink.
Yes. So you open them again, and you look at him and you close them again. And that's saying to him...
So I'm blinking at the cat.
You are. And that means I'm friendly, I like you, I want to be friends.
He's not even looking at me.
No, that's because he's focused on the surroundings. But what it does mean is that he's going to be more comfortable here.
Okay.
But don't headbutt the microphone, because that might make funny noises, actually.
What does that mean?
To the cat, it means
he's
that
going crazy for it.
He is. To the cat, it means that there's something there that might have to do with food.
Oh.
It's the sound that cats make when they're suckling their mum. So they associate it with that.
Can I play you listen? One of the great mysteries of cat, and I do have a cat. I have a cat called Velvet, who's 15 years old now.
Oh, bless.
She's wonderful. She's absolutely adorable. She's been with me for 13 years, and I love her very much. One of the great mysteries of cats is what they do when they're clawing you on their lap.
Yes.
Have a listen to this. This is a theory from one of our listeners as to what the cat is doing when it's clawing your lap. Have a listen.
Have you ever seen a cat when it gets into its basket? It'll turn and turn and turn and stick its paws into the bottom. Right. And it sounds when it gets on your lap and it digs its paws into your leg because it thinks it's going to sleep on a snake.
That's Dave from Luton, one of our regular listeners.
Yes.
Do they think they're going to sleep on a snake when they're doing the clawing thing?
No, they don't. What they're thinking about is back to the time where they were with their mum and they were suckling.
Yeah.
And essentially what they're saying to the owner is they're saying, you're gorgeous, I love you, I'm thinking back to the best time in my life I had, and I'm feeling really comfortable here, and just remembering that. So it's a love sign. So, Dave, he said your cat is saying, I love you.
See, that's what do you do when your cat takes up the whole bed, as mine does now?
Do you know what?
She's an old lady and she feels she's entitled to everything.
Do you know what, Ian? I wish I knew.
Yeah.
Because I've got lots of cats.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of space in my bed. I can tell you what we did.
Yeah.
We bought a super king-size bed.
Yeah, but they still plonk themselves right in the middle.
They
so last
do,
night I had a 3-year-old boy who was lying lengthways and a cat in the middle. I had no room for me at all.
I know.
So this course that's happening... what exactly? If I come to this course, and I leave later on in the afternoon, what will I take with me? What knowledge will I have that I didn't have before?
You will hopefully be able to go home and actually have a conversation with your cat in the sense that you will be able to give the body signals, the facial signals that will make your cat go, "Ooh, I need to come and have a chat with you. I need to come and hang out." If you look at Alex now, he's
turned his back to me.
Well, yeah, but he's got his paw on me.
Yeah.
And we call this the possessive paw.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, this is my person. Because cats get quite territorial with people.
If I were to lean over... Oh, he's looking at me. I'm going to do
oh, well done, Ian.
Blinking.
Ian is basically doing a little double wink.
If I go towards him now, will he let me stroke?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello.
He says, yeah, I know you're friendly.
Hello.
He says, yeah. Ooh, he says, you smell good. He says, yeah, I like that.
Hey, your cat voice is like my cat voice.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
We all do the same cat... Those suckers in there, they don't know cats. They don't know... you know... Look at you. Isn't he gorgeous?
He is. Well, the key thing is that what people also don't realise is some of the stuff, again, that goes, for example, on Facebook, where people go, you're a crazy cat person if your cat talks to you and you say, I know.
Yeah.
But actually, that's good, because cats like it when you talk to them.
Of course they do.
And people often think that cats are really standoffish, and they are not at all. But cats will give you what you give to them.
Yeah.
So if you talk to the cat, they will talk to you, but you have to initiate the conversation.
Have a listen to this. We sent our reporter Justin Dealey out to the street to see if people talk to their cats. Have a listen to this.
Madam, how many cats have you got?
One.
What's his name?
Her. It's Marley.
All right, calm down. Be honest with me.
I am.
Do you talk to your cat?
Yes, I do, all the time.
And what do you talk to your cat about?
Anything that I'm cross, whether she's, had a good day... Just about day-to-day things, really.
You ask your cat whether your cat's had a good day?
Yes.
What sort of response do you get?
Meow.
You're not winding me up either, are you?
No.
And what do you think that meow means?
Probably saying I've had a bad day or a good day, I don't know.
OK, this is fascinating. What else do you talk to your cat about? You ask your cat whether your cat's had a good day. What else do you talk to your cat about?
Let me think.
I mean, this morning, for argument's sake, what happened this morning?
Oh, good morning. And she just looked at me and she just wagged her tail and off she went.
And you don't think you're mad for doing that?
No, I don't think I'm mad at all. They've got feelings just the same as we have.
Just lastly, how does the cat sound again?
Meow.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Be open, be honest. Did you speak to Snowy the white cat?
Of course. I told him, and I said to him about his dry food and his canned food. He was a lovely cat. You had to speak to him.
So apart from food, what else did you speak to Snowy the white cat about?
I just used to have him on my lap and tell him what a lovely cat he was, and...
And do you think he responded?
He always purred.
OK, so by you telling Snowy the white cat what a lovely guy he was, you think the purr was in some way some sort of response as to say, well, thanks, Gov?
Of course, yeah.
And I've called them down and said, come on, eat your breakfast.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And they respond?
Yeah, of course they do. They're human.
They're human? They're animals.
Well, they're not human.
I know they know what you're saying, don't they?
See, this is the thing, okay? Everyone's going, oh, we've got a cat lady coming in, and it's all about talking about cats. Everyone's going, oh, ho, 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 ho. And I was like, yeah, and I don't see what the joke is.
I don't either.
No, and I genuinely don't, because cats are so much better than dogs. And I know you've got both, but I think you're just doing that to be kind. Cats are so, and you do have a relationship with cats. There is a relationship there.
Do. And dogs often, I mean, a lot of dogs, they like lots of different people, but cats like one person.
Yeah.
And you'll often find that cats, if they're in a family, they will choose one person who's their person.
Yep.
And with that one person, they will have a different language.
Yeah.
They'll often chirp. So instead of sort of meowing or things, they'll have sort of a prrrt sound.
I get that.
Yeah.
The two favourite things that Velvet doesn't do it very often. One is she sniffs my eye and her nose touches my eye.
Yeah.
The other one is she gently chews my hair.
Yes.
Oh, man. We're in heaven there. Listen, Anne-Marie, I've loved you coming in. If people want to find out more about your cat thing, where do they go? How do they find out?
The best thing to do is to go to www.doglistener.tv.
Dog Listener?
Dog Listener, because I work with Hannah Grice, and she is a behaviourist, and actually I think it's pretty impressive that somebody who works primarily with dogs is putting on something on cat behaviour.
Fluent in both languages. Give us that website again so people can go
www.doglistener.tv.
Excellent, Anne-Marie. It's been very nice to meet you. Alexander,
been lovely
very nice to meet you too. I hope it goes very well.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the trains, London Midland services are suspended between St Albans and Watford Junction because of an obstruction that's on the line, and that's likely to be there until around 12 o'clock today. But Chiltern Railway have delays still between Aylesbury and Marylebone because of an obstruction on the line, and they're starting to run again, but there are still serious delays. In High Wycombe on the A404 Amersham Road, that's blocked in both directions between Magnolia Dean and Totteridge Lane. In Cublington, that's been closed between Cublington and Wing on Cublington Road, and in Woburn Sands on Cranfield Road, that's shut between Station Road and Lower End Road. In Cuffley, Northall Road West is closed between Castlegate Road and Station Road. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. Come on, that's a cute cat, huh? Isn't it? Even the grumps here were going, oh, it's quite a cute cat. Let's get the news. Here's Simon.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. The headlines warning that council tax bailiffs scare the children, general election campaign focusing on the economy, and Stevenage draw at league leaders.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs around to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. According to the Children's Society, last year in Bedford there were 57 bailiff visits per 1,000 households, and in Welwyn Hatfield there were 47. Amy Gibbs is from the Society.
Parents told us councils are one of the most unhelpful creditors when it came to trying to deal with debts or with falling behind on your bills. So we did further research with parents and children, and what we found really worryingly is that councils are often rushing to send in aggressive and intimidating bailiffs to family homes.
General election campaigning will continue today, with the Conservatives pledging to create 2 million jobs. Labour will promise to cut business rates in its first budget. The Liberal Democrats say they'll increase spending on mental health care by a total of £3.5 billion over 6 years if they form part of the next government. The NSPCC says 1 in 10 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they are addicted to online pornography. Of the 700 youngsters questioned by Childline, 1 in 5 had viewed pornography that has upset them. Kate Russell is a Hertfordshire-based technology reporter.
The main thrust of it is actually to say we need to stop making it uncomfortable to talk about this and actually start speaking to young people about what is and isn't safe and what is and isn't right and how it makes them feel, and accept the fact that kids are going to explore stuff online.
A court in Malaysia has found a man guilty of killing 2 British medical students in Borneo last August. Neil Dalton and Aidan Brunga were both 22 and students at Newcastle University. They were working at a hospital on the island when they were stabbed in a bar. The owner of the B&Q DIY chain Kingfisher is to close around 60 stores across the UK as part of a restructuring programme. The company has announced a 7.5% fall in annual profits. It's not yet known which stores will close. High winds are causing travel disruption. Chiltern Railways suspended services between Aylesbury and London because of a tree on the line between Moore Park and Amersham. There's also an obstruction blocking the line between Watford Junction and St Albans Abbey, and the Dartford Bridge has been closed to all vehicles. In sport, Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night, a result which leaves them just 2 points from a playoff place. The draw also moves Graham Westley's side level on points with Luton.
After the break they came out and we had to weather a storm. We had to dig deep, we had to organise and show resilience, we had to run very, very hard on a very difficult surface, and I think the boys showed a terrific amount of commitment to bring the point home in the end.
And world champion Lewis Hamilton expects to sign a new Mercedes contract this week that could be worth more than £27 million a year. The weather: gale force winds to start the day in places, then bright or sunny spells and scattered blustery showers. A maximum temperature 11 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Oh, Kath just said a good thing in my ear. I won't say what it was, but it was a good thing. So, cats, kids with phones, e-cigarette, time bomb, a time bomb. Whatever you do you know, last hour, whatever you fancy, to be honest. I mean, the story's been a bit ropey, so let's just go with whatever you want to talk about, really. 08 459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Any Texas?
Tony says...
Good morning, Tony!
I don't know whether you're going to sound quite so chirpy when you see what he's written.
Hey! Well, I'm not going to see it, I'm going to hear it.
Well done, Iain. You've finally... I'm going to say annoyed me.
OK.
I had turned down the radio whilst the Hobbo song was on. I will turn
the
it
Hobbo?
back. Yes. I will turn it back on when the song is done. But to my horror, it went on and on, just like Dennis. Oh, nice bringing Dennis into it.
That's rude.
Why?
That's rude.
What is my life worth to you? Now,
yeah,
I like
nothing.
you and I hate you, Marmite boy.
Yeah.
You raised me up
You love me.
and then you let me down. Why
me.
do I turn you on? Is Catherine still hot? Says Tony.
The answer to that question is yes.
Smoking
hot. A little bit grayer around the gills, and she has actually developed gills, which is weird. Very weird.
Handy.
Where do you want me to start here?
David.
You want me to go to David first? Good morning, David.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello. How are you?
Sorry, David?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, David. How are you?
I'm sorry, I have been on your programme before, but I'm a little bit self-conscious about things.
Don't be self-conscious. Well, be self-conscious about things. I can't stop that, but don't be self-conscious about this. But, David, what would you like to say, my friend?
Well, I agree with this thing about cats clawing things because they go left, right.
Yep. It's nothing to do with sitting on snakes, is it?
No, the cats are very clever. They wouldn't have been around for millions of years if they clawed on a snake and waited for it to bite them.
The Egyptians... The Egyptians...
There would be a tail on the horizon. Sorry.
Exactly. The Egyptians love a good cat, don't they? They believe they have mystical powers.
They are very clever.
The Egyptians, well, they built pyramids.
Yes. I'm not sure about that.
No, they did, definitely. Honestly, in Egypt, they've got pyramids. I've seen pictures of them. Never seen them in the flesh, though.
2 cats, if that's what you mean, that sort of thing. Perhaps,
okay. Yeah, well, David, would you agree with me? 1 cat, beautiful. 2 cats, that's nice. 3 cats or more, weirdo.
You've just made me weird.
Oh, blimey. Why? What? Tell me, how many cats you got, David? 5?
More than 20.
Sorry?
More than 20.
What does your wife think about this?
Oh, I haven't had a wife for many years.
Okay. How? You say more than 20. Do you not know how many you've got?
No, people ask me, and my answer is all the same. If you were calling in your kids for dinner, would you say come in 1, 2, and 3?
No.
No, their names given with love.
But I know how many. I know how many kids I've got. I've got 2.
Yes, well that's easy, isn't it? I stopped counting. Got past about 12.
Wow. Have they all got names?
Everyone. I'm smoking my little Frankie right now.
You're doing what? You're doing what?
I'm stroking, sorry. Maybe you will make it if I stroke him a bit harder.
What? You're stroking your little Frankie, are you?
Yes.
I haven't stroked a little Frankie for a long, long time. Let's go through the names then, David. So there's Frankie, which you're stroking.
Yes.
Who else you got?
I got Stanley Dimitri.
They got surnames. Stanley Dimitri.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And his brother, Yolandi Oliver.
Yolandi Oliver. Yep, okay.
Yeah. So there's Stan and Ollie. If you think about it.
Oh, yeah, the first name of one is Stan and the second name of the other is Ollie. Just like Laurel and Hardy.
Yes, yes.
That's three.
Yeah, then there is Dandy.
Dandy?
Yeah, she's a short-haired girl.
Yep.
And Bambino, her brother.
Oh, Bambi and Bambino, yep.
No, Dandy.
Yes.
Yeah, with D, Dandy.
Dandy?
Yeah, and Bambino.
Dandy and Bambino.
Bambino can be Bambi or Bino.
Okay.
Dandy and
what
Bino.
What about okay, right. Okay, next.
Two well-known comics, Dandy and Bino.
Oh! I see what you're doing. You're slightly bonkers, aren't you?
I hope so.
Okay. What else you got? Hey! Whoa! What else you got, David? Do you get much human contact? What else have you got?
A certain amount, yes.
Okay, go on.
My eldest is called Rainbow.
Rainbow? That's very nice, isn't it? Yes.
Well, that's because he's tortoiseshell.
Yep, got no idea why I'm writing this down. This list is going nowhere. But
every colour a cat can be.
What, every colour?
Every colour a cat can be. Everyone.
Black?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Those are the three colours.
Oh, don't forget that you've got greys and all the rest of it.
The rest of the show is going to be a man called David listing the names of his cats.
Well, if she's every colour,
yeah,
every colour has to be a rainbow.
I feel like playing Melting Pot by Blue Mink again, but I won't. But do you know what I mean? Anyway, what's next? Take a little white man.
She's married to...
She's what, sorry?
She's married.
Sorry, this isn't the best line, David. For a second, I thought you said that she was married.
Yes.
Okay, yep.
She's not interested in any other boy than Sergeant.
Then what?
She's not interested in any other boy than Sergeant.
Sergeant? Oh, kinky. Okay, yes.
Well, if you imagine a white cat...
Okay.
And you pour ginger over his head, down his back and up his tail...
Yeah, that's cruel.
But on one front leg, he's got a little patch of grey tabby.
Honestly, you don't need to go into this much description, because we do finish at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Who married them? Did you actually perform a wedding ceremony?
No. I call them husband and wife because they absolutely adore one another. They're unlike cats are normally, where the boy does what he wants to do and then mummy has to bring up the babies.
Yeah.
They are totally attached.
Please tell me you've had all their well, how can I put this? Their balls chopped off.
Nearly all. One or two are literally not interested.
Oh, okay.
So the operation isn't necessary.
No, okay. So we've got Frankie, Stanley Dimitri, Yolandi Oliver, Dandy, Bambino, and then, of course, the husband and wife pairing of Rainbow and Sergeant. Who's next on the list?
I've got the oldest of all here.
Yeah?
Who I ended up with because my friend over the road sadly passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And she's, if you imagine, she starts off black.
You're describing...
peppered with ginger.
Yeah, okay, just the name.
Bagpuss.
Hey! Now, what's she named after?
Obviously the show Bagpuss that used to be. There was that rhyme at the beginning of Bagpuss.
Don't remember that.
Dear oh dear. It was more of a sort of a puppeteering type show.
I don't know.
But somebody there will be able to tell you about it anyway.
All right. Well, listen, David, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 of them. Yeah. I'm going to suggest we leave that for today. But are you around tomorrow to give us some more of the cats?
Yes, because I can tell you how to teach a cat its name and how many words they can make them understand.
Whoa, hang on a second. Brian, Ricky...
Hello.
I'm really sorry, guys. David has totally trumped you. I know you've got good points. Could I speak to you in about 5 minutes? Would that be okay, Brian and Ricky?
Yep. Yes, no problem.
Brilliant. You're more than welcome to stay on the line, or we can call you back. But How? So you? What? Sorry, David. You taught the cat words.
Yes, of course. Cats understand words.
They don't, mate. They're cats.
Any cat can understand 24 words, and the particularly bright ones can understand 4 times that.
Okay, so let's. Who's your brightest cat?
Sorry?
Who's your brightest cat?
Bob.
Who?
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah.
Okay. And
firstly, sorry, carry on.
No, I will. And what can Bob? What words does Bob understand?
He is my brightest, and he'll understand most things that I say. All sorts of things. I mean,
does he understand my soul is dying? I'm so lonely. Does he understand those phrases, David? I imagine.
Oh dear.
Maybe he hears those a lot.
They are wonderful. They've got every emotion.
But what does What does Bob understand? And you're taking this in good sport, David, because I am a cat person. I get it. But Bob, what do you say to Bob? And what? I mean, can you say, Bob? Could you go and turn on ITV? I want to watch Jeremy Kyle.
Very simply, if I've got all my cats asleep on settee, which belongs to them...
Yeah, of course it does.
Okay.
I bet it's...
It totally belongs to them. They sleep under and over and around each other, and they're very, very happy.
Yeah.
If I call one of their names, that is the only one that lifts his head and looks at me.
Right, but that's not specific to Bob, is it? What does... Come on, David. You said Bob understands instructions. What does he do?
They understand no. But they also understand yes.
But what can Bob do that the others can't do?
It's difficult, really. You'd have to see them and be with them to fully understand.
Whereabouts do you live, David?
Just outside Hitchin.
Okay. Can one of us come round one day and have a look at your cats?
I
take that as a no. And
I think it might be possible, yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what, David, I'm going to pass you back to Kelly Betts. Yeah. We'll take your details, and one of us will pop round at some point. Maybe Catherine. I think Catherine might like... Catherine, you like animals, don't you? Okay.
Was it... I'll start again. Was it your programme on Friday that I sung on twice?
Yes! That was us, and that was you.
I'm a peculiar chap.
We'd noticed...
I am high-achieving Asperger's.
Aha! That explains a lot, David. Listen, speak to Kelly Betts. I'll just stay on the line, and Catherine will come round at some point, and we'll...
Well, I need to check my diary, but someone will come round.
Either Catherine or
Justin.
But probably Catherine will come round.
Lockers.
No, I think Catherine...
No.
I think Catherine will come round, David, and have a chat with you and have a look at your cats, because I think that's brilliant what you do. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. So that's Frankie. That's David there, stroking his little Frankie. Stanley Dimitri, Yolandi Oliver, Dandy, Bambino, Rainbow, Sergeant Bagpuss and Bob. Oh, wonderful. I look forward to hearing that from you.
I'm really itchy.
I can't wait to hear the rest. I can't wait to hear the other names.
I like Dave. Thank you,
Can we
David.
phone him tomorrow?
Well, let's get David on tomorrow, and maybe you could record this for the bank holiday, either the Good Friday or the Bank Holiday Monday shows we're doing.
Well, why don't you do it?
Can't do it, mate.
But you're a cat man. You're the cat man.
Exactly. That's why I think you should do it. I look forward to that, Catherine. That's going to be brilliant. Thank you, mate.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On London Midland trains, they're suspended between St Albans and Watford Junction because of an obstruction on the line. So there's a replacement coach taking passengers between St Albans and Watford Junction. And Chiltern Railway have delays between Aylesbury and Marylebone because of a tree on the line. It has been removed, but knock-on delays are still causing problems. On the roads in High Wycombe, Amersham Road is closed between Magnolia Dean and Totteridge Lane because of a fallen tree. In Kings Langley on Chipperfield Road, that's partially blocked by a tree that's fallen down at Whippendale Hill. And in Cuffley on Northwell Road West, that's closed between Castlegate Road and Station Road because of a tree that's fallen down there. On the motorways, the M25 is looking busy on the North Orbital Road around the junction 21A roundabout, and also further afield clockwise it's closed at the QE2 bridge with queues from Romford, but traffic can use the Dartford Tunnel. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Scott has tweeted me, my cat understands, a boot up the bum, gear off that! It's not actually what he put. I had to translate 2 words. Thank you, David. Excellent call. 8:16. It's Tuesday, the 31st of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. General election campaigning continues today, with the Conservatives pledging to create 2 million jobs and Labour promising to cut business rates. And the NSPCC says 1 in 10, 12 and 13-year-olds are worried they're addicted to online pornography.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning indeed. It's a cat special today.
Isn't it?
Kath's going to go around and see a man who's got over 20 cats.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm really busy. When? I'm really busy.
She's going to go and see him. Over 20.
I think that's weird. I speak as someone who has a cat, but I think anybody that has more than 2 cats is a little bit odd.
I agree, particularly if it's a single woman. There's no. Do you know what I mean? There's a single woman with. If we were in the dating game, okay, and I got picked up by a woman. I thought, oh, she's attractive. This is nice. We're going to go back to her house. This is going to be great.
And there's litter trays everywhere.
Yeah, you see a cat. Oh, that's nice. You got. Oh, there's 2 cats. There's 3 cats. Yeah. I've got to go. My mum's in hospital.
I think that when there's more than 2 cats, they're not the pets anymore. You are.
Yeah.
I'm just never quite sure why people want lots of animals. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I've got a dog.
Yeah.
I don't want 5 dogs.
I don't know why you've got a dog, to
One
be
dog
honest.
is fine.
Yeah.
I've got a cat. I've got 1 cat. I don't need 20 cats in my house.
No.
Why would I need loads of
What
the same
have you got
animal?
against hamsters? Why don't you get a hamster as well?
Oh, they're boring, hamsters.
Guinea pig?
Oh, they're even worse. I used to have a guinea pig.
The rabbit, after having him for a year, has started doing something. He started playing football the other day.
Really?
Yeah. I might get his nuts chopped off.
Is he climbing on the football and riding it?
Yeah, well, he's definitely.
He's not playing football.
OK, thank you very much indeed. You can just do that yourself, can't you?
No, you cannot.
Can you not?
No.
OK. What effect does it have on animals to get them castrated? Obviously, they can't make babies.
Stops them having babies.
I know that. But surely your mood, you'd become a little bit down if someone castrated you, wouldn't you? You'd be a little bit depressed.
I have no idea. I'd have less testosterone.
OK.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? With the boys, you take away a bit of the testosterone. They don't have that same kind of...
Oh, I feel so cruel, but I feel so powerful.
You want to take away your rabbit's testosterone?
Yes, I do. It keeps scratching me, a little so-and-so.
Really?
Yeah, vicious.
What kind of rabbit did you go for in the end?
One that Ollie the cleaner was selling. One of them.
You paid for it?
Yeah.
Did you?
20 quid.
You paid 20 quid.
But then you got to buy. Then the hutch is like 150 quid. They're so expensive.
You paid for the hutch as well?
Well, of course you have to pay for a hutch. I'm just going to let it live wild.
Why did she sell you the rabbit? Why did she have a rabbit? Why did she have a rabbit?
She was just bored, and she wanted something to, to occupy her time.
Generally, when you rehome an animal, you don't charge people for it.
Oh no, it was offered to me for free, and I gave them 20 quid. I thought that was a decent thing to do. They were very
gentleman.
What's on your show this morning?
Immigration. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow night I'm going to be hosting an audience debate in Luton.
Tomorrow, your first one of those, yes.
With a panel of local politicians to discuss immigration. Well, if you have an opinion on what those politicians should be doing, today at 9, I'd like you to have your say. I'm going to use today as a bit of homework, really, for tomorrow night, so I can make sure that I present everything that the audience want me to present to these politicians and make sure that they answer the questions that people want.
So having an easy day today.
Yes, in effect. So where do the parties stand on immigration? Labour have branded campaign mugs with controlling immigration being one of their top priorities.
Oh, yeah.
The Conservatives say they'd like to get immigration down to tens of thousands per year, whilst UKIP's latest campaign poster doesn't mention immigration at all.
No.
Well, from 9 this morning, I want your reaction. Help me out with my debate for tomorrow, please. What would you like politicians to do about immigration. Get your call in from 9 on 08459 455 555.
Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tip-top etiquette expert William Hanson, who is not a fan of politicians oversharing.
Oh, good afternoon, Roberto. I feel slightly nauseous after that music.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk to Harriet Harman, the leader of the Labour Party.
We've been in Bedford and Cambridge, and we've had very interesting discussions.
Let's talk cold callers. Do you have a tried and tested method of getting rid of cold callers?
You've got to make up a word before you go on the phone, and so you can fit that word in without them realising the most time.
Saying actually helps you feel calmer. Did you believe this, Sharon?
Definitely. And since I read that, I've been doing it and I'm well chilled.
Roberto Perroni, weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Look down, there's Tiggletown, and there's the River Tum. Oh, yeah, Tiggle on the Tum. You looking forward to going to David's house?
Immensely.
OK, I look forward to hearing that report. Should be a lot of fun.
I'm a bit allergic.
Well, don't worry.
Eye-wise.
The fleas won't go into your skeleton, so that'll be OK. If they do, just run up the chimney. Now, Brian and Ricky, we kept you waiting. You're very patient. Thank you very much indeed. Brian, let's go to you first. What have you called in about?
Well, I've learned a lot about cats anyway.
Haven't we just? And the human mind.
They got a toilet in their own garden.
Some cats, Brian, you can train a cat to use a human toilet.
Oh, right.
This is absolutely true. There's videos of it on YouTube. Cats using human toilets.
Yeah, you put a litter tray inside the toilet, don't you? And then after a while you remove it and they don't notice.
No, and they learn how to... I think they flush it by putting fish paste on the flusher. I'm not sure about that.
They can come in and use my toilet as long as I don't use the garden.
Oh, there you go, you see. That wouldn't be weird. Brian, what have you got for us?
Well, it's just earlier on you were talking about their children having mobile phones.
Yes.
And parents keeping a track on them. I think... my family want to keep track on me. I think I should have a mobile phone.
No.
And this technology, if I had one, I'd be able to find out how Wickham got on at the weekend. Because what niggled me a bit was that Three Counties, instead of the usual sports news, local sports news, they said if after the news, they said if you want sports news, go on the website. Well, unfortunately, I'm computer illiterate and I leave my wife to do all that.
There's a lot of this, Brian, at the BBC where it's all Facebook this and Twitter this and website this, and I keep saying, well, hang on a minute, we're a blooming radio station. Put it on the radio. And it's not always possible with sport because there are lots of different matches going on and some football matches get covered and some don't. But did you find out the result in the end, Brian?
I still don't. I don't see the digital result. I know they took 2 points off Burton.
Hang on a second. So who was? High Wycombe were...
I think they were playing. Well, they were playing Dagenham and Redbridge.
Simon Oxley's upstairs, and I know that he'll be grabbing.
You're on Google. Google it for them, fella.
Oh God!
For goodness sakes! Well, what have you? Google it for Brian in High Wycombe. He's computer illiterate.
It was 1-0 to. Oh no! What? Oh yeah, it's 1-0 to Wickham.
And who are they playing?
Dagenham and Redbridge.
Hey, there we go, Brian. That's a result.
Oh, that's cheered my morning. I'm glad I rang. Thank you very much.
Brian, thank you very much indeed. You see, that's what we're the BBC.
Yeah, but now we're going to be Google. Well done. We're getting phone calls now. I've got a computer. Can you Google this for me?
Ricky, is there anything you want us to ask Jeeves about?
Sorry, could you say that again, please?
What have you called in for?
About the two-way radios in place of the mobile phone.
Oh, the walkie-talkies?
Yes.
Go on then.
Might find that a set of walkie-talkies...
Are you stroking Frankie?
...is more occupied than having a mobile phone.
Are you stroking Frankie, Ricky?
No.
You sound like you're busy.
That's all right. I'm trying to get comfortable.
In what?
An office chair.
Are you like 3 inches tall or something? It sounds like you're being swallowed.
No, you're on loudspeaker.
I see. All right, OK, those office chairs. The walkie-talkies are much more fun than telephones for kids.
Yes, exactly.
Are you comfy now, Ricky?
Yes.
OK, good lad. All right. Do you know what? This week, I think I am going to show the boys how to make 2 tin cans and a piece of string, and we're going to go and play with that, I think.
Yes, I guess I'd actually occupy for about 5 minutes.
No, that'll be an afternoon, Ricky. Thank you, mate. That'll be an afternoon. You should have seen them... Oh, sorry, that was the chair. You should have seen them fighting over a Buzz Lightyear mask they got free with a comic yesterday. Blimey. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Now, 1 in 10 12 to 13-year-olds is addicted to online pornography. That's according to the NSPCC. Well, we can speak to Roseanne Pearce now from Childline. Good morning, Roseanne.
Good morning.
I suppose it's disappointing, but are we really surprised that so many kids are accessing porn?
Well, not really. I mean, there's so much content online, and they will be interested in it. And in a way, it's natural that they are. But it is shocking just how many very young children are, 12 to 13-year-olds. 1 in 10 being worried they're addicted to porn. You know, those figures are shocking. And in fact, 12% admitted making or being part of a sexually explicit video. So
Of 12 to 13-year-olds?
Yes.
See, that's the thing, because the addiction thing, I wonder if those people actually know what addiction really means. But the fact that they are engaging in making their own explicit images, that's pretty terrifying, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, you know, young people have a culture of selfies and doing their own videos, and this is a kind of maybe unhealthy progression of that, really, and it does have a really strong impact on young people when they're seeing things, you know, way too much, really.
How do we instill, I guess, a sense of self-respect into our young people so that they don't need to do this?
Well, I think the point is that they're going to be interested in it. It's more about how we can help them to have the resilience to cope, because what we know is that young people are accessing pornography. So until we can change that, I mean, you know, parents can look at talking to internet service providers about filters and such. But while they are looking at pornography, we need to help them to understand that pornography isn't real life, and that's where the problem comes. Young people look at it and think, oh, that's how I need to behave. Girls think, I need to act like that if I'm going to get a boy. And boys start to have a distorted image about girls and think, oh, they're just there for gratification.
And so how do we change those opinions, Roseanne?
Well, for example, if parents are worried, direct them to that's exactly why we have the Childline FAPS campaign, the Fight Against Porn Zombies, which is a series of animations where there are kind of teenage superheroes, as it were, talking to porn zombies who are young people who've seen pornographic images and think they have to emulate them and act like that. The government has already recently announced plans for children aged 11 and upwards to be taught about sexual consent and rape as part of their education in schools. And this would also include discussion around what they're learning, watching pornography. So it's about education, really. And we have information on the NSPCC website as well.
OK, so they can go there. And if I want to find FAPS online, Roseanne, where do I go?
You can go to childline.org.uk/FAPS, but they're also on YouTube.
OK, brilliant. Roseanne, listen, keep up the good work. Thank you very much indeed. Roseanne Pearce from Childline. And it is important that we teach our young people, Catherine, that those porn films are not real. For example, every time a plumber comes round, you're not necessarily going to get off with them. It doesn't always work like that.
Yes.
And the pizza man...
Not every time.
When the pizza man comes round, the kind of tip he wants is normally a few quid.
Yeah.
Not something else. Yeah. If you want to go and have a look at what Roseanne was talking about, if you go online and look for FAPS, that should certainly help. It's 8:30, let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In High Wycombe, Amersham Road is blocked in both directions between Magnolia Dean and Tartar Ridge Lane because a tree's fallen down, and in Kings Langley on Chipperfield Road, that's partially blocked at Whippenden Hill for the same reason. In Cuffley, the police say that the Northall Road West is still closed between Kettlegate Road and Station Road, and in Woburn Sands on Cranfield Road, that's been blocked by a fallen tree between Station Road and Lower End Road. Also, between Cublington and Wing on Cublington Road, that's blocked. On the train to London Midland, have a replacement bus between St Albans and and Watford Junction because of an obstruction on the line there. And Chiltern Railway have a tree on the line between Aylesbury and Marylebone. It has been moved, but there are still severe delays because of that. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Faps. Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. General election campaigning is continuing today with the Conservatives pledging to create 2 million jobs and Labour promising to cut business rates. The charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs around to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. And the owner of the B&Q DIY chain Kingfisher is to close around 60 stores across the UK as part of a restructuring programme.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Stevenage drew 1-1 at League Two leaders Burton last night, a result which leaves them just 2 points from a playoff place. Both goals were own goals in the first half, with the Borough taking the lead. The draw also moves Graham Westley's side level on points with Luton.
It's about what you do in the two boxes, and in the two boxes we weren't clinical enough in the first half, they weren't clinical enough in the second half. But late on, perhaps we could have got one or two bits of fortune in their box. If we had done, we could have come away with 3 big points. But I think a draw is a fair result, and a point was well earned by us.
Tottenham striker Harry Kane will start for England for the first time in tonight's friendly against Italy in Turin. Here's manager Roy Hodgson.
I've quite enjoyed the hype around him and the speculation and the interest and the excitement. I thought it was fantastic at Wembley on Friday night. I really enjoyed that, and of course, like everyone else, fantastic that after 80 seconds he scores a goal. It really is a bit of a fairy tale situation, and I love fairy tales in football like everybody else.
And Watford goalkeeper Jonathan Bond helped England's under-21s beat Germany 3-2 at Middlesbrough last night. Former Luton youngster Cauley Woodrow was among the substitutes. World champion Lewis Hamilton expects to sign a new Mercedes contract this week that could be worth more than £27 million a year. The 30-year-old from Stevenage, who's been handling negotiations with team bosses himself, says talks are complete and the deal is being finalised by lawyers. More from James Allen.
At 30, Hamilton will probably have one more contract after this during his career. Staying at Mercedes was the obvious choice for now, as they have the best car, and this deal keeps him broadly aligned in value with the sport's other 2 leading drivers, Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso. Hamilton leads the Drivers' Championship after 2 rounds from Vettel, who surprised the Mercedes driver by beating him in Malaysia at the weekend.
And in Netball Super League last night, Hertfordshire Mavericks beat Bath 42-33. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It was definitely faps. We've had two of you saying you've been Googling something that sounds similar, and the images that have come up actually haven't been very helpful. It was faps. F-A-P-Z is what you should be looking for, just to make sure you've got that absolutely spot on there.
Wow.
We're still... Catherine and I have no idea why. We're still giggling for some reason. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Hey! Beverly in Northampton has 3 cats.
Hello, Beverly.
So that means she's weird.
Yes. Is she single? That would make her weirder.
Let's read her message and see. It's quite a long message.
OK, Beverly, it's over to you.
Sally's brother died, so we got 2 other boys.
Could you do it in a voice? Oh, no, hang on.
No.
Yeah?
Because I haven't read the end yet. It might turn tragic.
Do it in a voice.
It starts out tragic. Sally's brother died.
Yeah, but Sally's a cat.
Yeah.
So do it in a voice, and then if it gets tragic at the end, you can kind of bail out. I'll give you permission to bail out.
I don't know what voice Beverly would have.
Scylla.
I'm not doing Scylla.
Or Cher.
All right, love. Sally's brother died, so we got 2 other boys, Byron and Bentley. Doing the whole thing. The balance is better with 3. I talk to them and they understand. Bed, they get on our bed.
Bed.
Hair, Sally will follow me to settle down and chew on my ear. Bed. Straw, Byron has his own box of straws. What is it with cats and straws?
What?
And he'll run to us and we let him take one to play with. Bed. And they'll come to me to play with a laser pen. Out, they run to the back door. Stick is a treat stick, and they run to the cupboard where I keep them. So many more things. Byron and Bentley's parents, grandparents and great-grandparents are a national our Grand National Pedigree winners. They're very
They're
intelligent.
horses, then.
The key thing to know when teaching cats is you can't make a cat do something, you can make him want to do
now,
something.
can someone tell me? Justin, I'm sure I saw on Eurotrash or something like that years ago.
Great programme.
Careful.
No, a cat theatre in Paris or Belgium. And it was someone who'd trained 30 cats to put on a show.
I think you're talking about Holland, aren't you?
Amsterdam? Justin, please, mate, for goodness sakes, it's half term. Don't encourage him, Catherine.
What are you talking about then?
Moscow Cat Theatre.
Oh, and they trained the cats to, like, run across ropes and spin round on chairs and do all kinds of, like, stuff, put on a show. And you would pay money and you would go and see the cats doing a show.
That's amazing, because normally, of course, they're arrogant. They do what they want, when they want.
Yeah,
Kelly's found it!
Yeah. This is odd, yeah.
Nothing to do with ping pong balls.
What do you know about this?
Nothing to do with ping pong balls or bananas.
Wow, but these cats all look terrified. I think that they've had a word with them in the wings, said, if you don't do that, you're going to the special farm.
If you don't do that, then you'll never see your kittens again.
But that's not how cats work.
Sorry?
Cats do what they want.
Yeah.
Oh, we've had a text through from, do you remember this guy? Dave Luton? Do you know how I know it's the actual Dave?
Because his spelling is awful and he's made up words.
Of a cat not to sleep on top of a snake, let's ask David Attenborough. Aye, he told us all on TV years ago. Dave Luton.
Shall I ring him?
Go on.
Yeah, ring him.
Dave, I've missed you, boss.
Why are you only writing to us now, Dave? Is it because you owe us a tenner?
He does. Matt Haig has retweeted your little link.
Oh, that's nice of him.
That's nice, isn't it?
It's kind.
I like him. Yeah, good. Let's wait for Dave Luton and see what. Where are you, Just?
I'm on the streets, mate. It's very windy out here today. I'm doing it all for you.
Driving in today, it was a flipping windy, wasn't it?
Horrible out there, horrible. But hopefully things will improve by tomorrow.
It's not. I thought it was going to get worse.
Oh,
I've not really listened to the weather this morning. I never do. That's when I drift off into my own little mind thought. But I think it's going to get worse. There's talk of snow even.
What?
Yeah.
Snow?
Yeah, you know the white stuff from the sky?
It's April Fool's tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, flipping it.
You up for it?
No, well, for what?
I love April Fools. Well, it's a great day. It's a great day to be alive and to be out there and to be bantering with people.
Well, what are you going to do? If you do one on me, I'm going to kick you.
Well, let's just see what tomorrow brings, shall we?
Okay.
Oh, trickster.
Yeah.
How's Dave Luton, Kels?
His phone's off.
But he just sent the text.
Yeah, I know. He's turned it off. He must have heard me say.
He's such a plum.
He's like the Scarlet Pimpernel.
What? He's French and dead?
They seek him here, they seek him there. Those Frenchies seek him everywhere.
No.
Oh, do you want another cat fact?
Oh, we can do this thing with Justin. I'm just really thinking I really need the toilet. I can hold it for 21 minutes.
Yeah, you do that.
Go on then.
Although last time it was very, very uncomfortable. I had to flush 3 times. Now, Justin, what have you taken to the streets? I don't remember.
Well, earlier on you said to me that there was something in the papers about what you wouldn't do in front of your partner.
And this was because a gentleman had left his wife a farthing because she called him a filthy pig for breaking wind in front of her.
Yes.
We weren't going to go along that base route.
No.
We opened it up.
Yep.
And asked people what they wouldn't do in front of their partners.
It kind of did go down that route, though. And,
of course it did.
Guys.
What I would say...
I get so much flack for this show already.
This is not your fault. I can say right now, this is not your fault. What's coming up is definitely not your fault. What I do need to ask you is, though, the very successful podcast, which you broadcast on a Friday, goes out onto the internet. Can we have some sort of X-rated podcast one week? Because I'm building up a selection of clips which cannot be broadcast on the radio show, which I'm sure people would absolutely love listening to. Can that be arranged?
No, we can't do that.
But I know what we could call it.
What would you call it? What? Nobblies?
No.
Noblets?
Stop.
What?
Justin!
OK. I've been on the streets this morning, and this one, this particular...
I'd like to hear them, though.
OK. This one coming up...
And I will sell them to anyone that wants them for a £5. Catherine, tell me your microphone's off. Whisper in my ear what it was. What? Oh, I don't think you couldn't call it. I mean, but you couldn't call it that. Noblet cast, but take off the lit.
Well,
Right, Justin.
This package has got a celebrity guest at the end on this one. Oh, yes.
Is it the intercom man?
Is it Scylla?
No, it's not. It's somebody just as famous
Is
as
it
Scylla.
Is it that David Ruffin we saw?
No, it's not David Ruffin. It's somebody who spent 50 years in showbiz. You'll have to wait to
Nelson
find out
Mandela.
who it is. No, it's not. No, definitely not him.
Oh.
So I've been on the streets this morning asking people, what wouldn't you do in front of your partner? Here's what people had to say.
Obvious.
You say it's obvious. Come on, talk to me. What wouldn't you do?
Break wind.
Why wouldn't you, though? Because some people think it's natural.
I'm a gentleman. I wouldn't do that.
You draw the line there.
There's a time and a place for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
When's the time and a place?
In the toilet.
By yourself?
Oh, yeah.
With the door closed?
Obviously.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. It's natural, isn't it? Wherever you be, let your wind go free.
I'm not commenting.
Is there anything you wouldn't do in front of your partner, sir?
I wouldn't lie to her.
Oh, straight talking, honest guy.
Yeah.
Madam, is there anything you don't do in front of your partner?
No.
So even those, those windy noises, you don't mind in front of your partner?
Not after 31 years, no.
Thanks, madam. Cheers. Sir, you got a girlfriend. What would you not do in front of your girlfriend?
Burp. It's not very pleasant, is it?
Surely that shows that you've enjoyed your meal, that your lovely partner has cooked for you.
True, but it's not good manners, is it?
Try it tonight. She might love it.
She might not.
Take my advice. Take care.
Thank you.
Here with the T-Dog, the celebrity guest on the Street Vox. Tony, what would you not do in front of your partner, in front of your wife?
I think over the years I've learnt that it's really best not to tell jokes that I tell on the radio, because it's depressing, the reaction I get from them, and she doesn't like them, really. So I've tried and tried, but it's just it doesn't work. So I think it's best just not to try and bring your work back in front of the wife. So I wouldn't tell any jokes.
Love it. Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much.
Well, hang on a minute. Mm-hmm. So his missus doesn't get that torture, but his dear listener, who, let's be honest, pays his wages.
Exactly, yeah.
Has to put up with it. I mean, I don't. I can't stand the fella. I'd never switch him on. But the poor listener has to put up with it.
Chop, chop, chop.
We might have a bit of that before the end of the show. Excellent stuff, Justin. How did Ladies' Day go?
Ladies' Day last week was very successful. By the way, you're here on Monday, aren't you, with your breakfast show at Cats?
Friday and Monday.
It's my show. It's featuring Iain.
Yes, I'm signed up to do Good Friday and Bank Holiday Monday. I thought I was just kind of doing the normal show, but dumbed down a bit.
Yeah.
Dumbed down a bit from this. But it is actually being billed in the listings as the Kath and Iain show.
Sounds great.
The Kath and Iain show. I'm an and.
Right, your name goes first, yeah?
Well, it should do, but it's not. It's Kath and Iain.
All right, guys. All right. Well, on Monday, you're doing 6 till 9. I'm doing 9 till 12. In the first hour, ladies only.
Yeah.
In the second hour, soul only. And in the third hour, bands only.
The second is so lonely.
Soul only.
So lonely.
So lonely. Why are you going to be so lonely?
Well, in the studio by myself. What can I say?
Yeah, it's tough times.
Yeah.
Thank you, Just.
Cheers, boss.
Ta-ra.
Lonely.
So Friday and Monday, it's me and you, Boyley.
Yeah.
If your name's above the door, you can sit in this chair and run the desk, and I'll sit over there with a flask.
If that's what you want, that's what will happen.
That's what I want.
And that's what's going to
I
happen.
had such a bad night's sleep last night.
I was actually praying to God to let me have an hour's sleep.
Oh.
That's how desperate I was for. I was going, God, dear God, please let me just have an hour's sleep, please. And that's all I got.
And God said, "What are you calling me now for? It's been years."
What are you calling me now for? It's been years.
I said I'm desperate.
Well, okay.
He's good like that.
But he's not bad, is he? Let's get some Trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1M southbound, there's been an accident between junction 8 for Stevenage and 7 for the A602. It's taking 20 minutes to get through from junction 9 for Letchworth because 2 lanes are closed. In High Wycombe, Amersham Road is blocked in both directions between Magnolia Dean and Totteridge Lane. That's because a tree's fallen down. There's also falling trees in Kings Langley on Chipperfield Road, but around Whippendale Hill, and also in Cuffley on Northall Road West between Castlegate Road and Station Road. In Woburn Sands, Cranfield Road is blocked by a tree tree that's fallen down between Station Road and Lower End Road. And in Cublington, on Cublington Road, a tree's fallen down in between Cublington and Wing, according to caller Chris. On the trains, London Midland services have a replacement bus between St Albans and Watford Junction. That's because a tree's fallen on the line there. And Chiltern Railway have had their tree removed from the line between Aylesbury and Marylebone, but there are still very long delays. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
8:45. It's Tuesday, the 31st of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. General election campaigning continues today, with the Conservatives pledging to create 2 million jobs and Labour promising to cut business rates. A charity is calling for an end to sending bailiffs round to collect unpaid council tax as it upsets the children. And around 60 B&Q stores are to close after the parent company posted a 7.5% fall in profits. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It was a very windy night and it's been a very windy morning so far. We've seen some quite strong gusts right the way across all three counties, somewhere between 35 and 50 miles per hour. So they are still very strong and they will continue. The wind just starting to switch, coming from the northwest, so it is going to start to feel quite chilly as well. Now we've got some fairly heavy showers popping up also. They're going to work their way south across us. We've already seen a few kind of going across Hemel Hempstead down through St Albans, and we're going to see them come and go through the course of the day. Now the Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place for the strong winds. Between the squally showers we should see some sunny spells. We've already seen a glimmer or two of that this morning already. The maximum temperature up to 12 Celsius. Now the strongest of the winds will die down a little overnight. They won't disappear, but they will get a little lighter. Sky clears, minimum temperature down to 3 Celsius. So a chilly start tomorrow, but with some sunshine and some showers tomorrow afternoon. Still breezy, just not quite as noticeable as today. Maximum temperature 11 Celsius, 52 degrees in Fahrenheit, and that's for Wednesday. That's your forecast.
Thanking you.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every day it's not just about great music and great conversation.
I'll get a bit technical here.
It's about local experts helping you across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
So what we're talking about then is capital gains tax potentially on the portion of the property that they directly own.
On finance, relationships.
But look at the way that you have contributed to this situation.
Health.
When you have a cough, which can seem quite innocuous in this way, but just irritating, asthma is something that we would think of.
Your pets.
Particularly if your dog is a border collie cross, it will be epilepsy.
And even law.
You still cannot say, Judge, you have to stick to this. But the judge's approach now is going to be, well, why shouldn't we?
Local advice for local people.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Was a wealthy man who had a wonderful idea to bring children from all places with all kinds of faces together into a sailing ship. There were 40 boys and girls. They would sail their ship around the globe, so they called it the United World. The ship was just 3 weeks from shore when a hurricane bore it down. The waves were big as mountains. Surely drown. They jumped into the lifeboats, rowed away from the wreck. They didn't count them, they hadn't time. 5 children were left behind. The children fought the storm all night and finally fell asleep. They didn't realize the ship had been blown across a reef into the lost islands. Hiding in the bushes was a watchful pair of eyes, and living in the valley were people lost in time, ruled over by a tyrant whose face was in a mask. The children must defeat him so they can escape at last from the lost islands. The lost islands.
Yes. Catherine has just been sent, a vulgar text that we cannot read this text, Peter. It's so vulgar. It's to do with it's to do with cutting the cheese.
It's to do with a hairdryer being made to backfire.
Someone dropped one in their partner's hairdryer so that when they turned the hairdryer on, Peter, they got, quotes, a face full of guff.
Oh, dear.
Would that work?
No, Kelly. No.
Peter, I'm sure that would never have happened in your day, and if young people had been doing that during World War II, we'd all be speaking German now.
Absolutely.
Ja, das ist gut. Ja.
Ja.
Ja. No, yeah, it's a soft J. Ja.
I was stationed in Germany, actually.
Oh, das was gut, ja.
Ja.
Ja. Hast du ein Pumpernickel?
No, Kotlet mit Kartoffel.
Oh, Kartoffel ist eine einfach klasse, he said carefully. What you got for us, Peter? What do you have a whinge about today, mate?
I was just listening to the people there saying about when the BBC says things like .com.
As .cotton?
.com.
Oh, yeah.
When they're trying to say contact.com, really.
Contacts.com?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now, there's a huge number of people out there either can't afford to run a computer or don't use the internet at all.
Right.
A lot of them are elderly as well.
Right.
And they get really, really annoyed by the unintelligent people running the output because they're getting no information whatsoever.
Peter, I'm sorry, could you put this in an email and send it to me, please?
Yes, and that's another expression too. And furthermore...
And never mind the furthermore, the plea is self-defence.
No. The plea really is...
Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina, Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina.
Zilch, China Clipper calling Alameda. China Clipper calling Alameda. Zilch, China Clipper calling Alameda.
That's where it's from. OK. Yes, Peter?
Yeah, when there was a democracy running... Yeah?
Yes.
If you're going to give election results...
Yes.
Give the results in numbers. Don't just say, oh, he won that.
I don't think it... Right.
That diminishes democracy.
I don't think people do give the election results.
No, they give a result, they don't give the numbers.
No, I think they do give the... Well, first of all, there hasn't been an election, and there won't be one for another, 38 days?
Yeah.
And when that election does happen, they will give the numbers. They always give the numbers.
They don't always
They do always give the numbers.
No, they don't.
Listen.
You look at your old station reports, I'm telling you, they don't.
Well, I don't know about that. They will for the general election, I'm pretty sure of it. Peter, the .com business, it's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because the .com is, and the .co.uk, indeed the .org, .net, all of them. It's kind of the growing thing, isn't it, Peter? The internet. It's quite popular.
It might be popular, but you've got a huge portion of the population who don't have the facility.
No. I kind of agree. Sorry?
Yeah, well, if you kind of agree, then you must fully agree.
No, I can't. Okay, I can see your point, and I agree to a certain extent. I do think that we are and I've had rows with the bosses about this, I do think that we are a radio station, and we should focus on our radio output, which is what we do, okay? Which is, in fairness, is what we do. And I do think that sometimes we rely a little bit too much on the Twitter, on the Facebook, and on other bits and pieces online, okay?
Yeah. Can I put one question to you?
You can do that, Peter.
Right. Suicides.
Oh, blimey.
Right, homelessness.
What? What's this got to do with
depression, and, if you like, loneliness.
Yes. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Do you believe that's a successful society?
What?
And food banks as well. Do you think that's a successful society? They're all up.
Well, no, I think all of those things that you're saying are bad things. Suicide, loneliness, depression, and food banks, I think are...
They're all up, by the way.
Okay, good. Right. What's this got to do with
well,
.coms?
My point is, do you think that's a good society?
Well, what's that got to do with .coms?
It's another aspect of our society.
Peter, you've lost me, and normally I can follow your nonsense to the nth degree. Are you saying that we are becoming more isolated because of computers?
We're becoming, if you like, more immune to suffering.
Because of computers?
Because of all the various aspects going on in life now.
Well, because
one thing for your children...
Hang on a minute, Peter. I'm struggling to pin down one. It's like trying to nail jelly to the wall, this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, OK, go on. One thing for my children, yeah?
If you get one of the shoe boxes you've got in the house, cut 5 little square holes in the long side of it, and give the kids marbles, they'll play with that for hours and hours and hours and hours without having to spend a lot of money on toys.
Peter, thank you very much indeed.
Won't the marbles just fall out?
This is what I was thinking. Peter, thank you. I got some of the points. I am the big fan of my boys. My wife more so than I, but we are big fans of the boys of making things. My wife does it more. I'm not very good at making stuff, but that constantly. My boy last night was decorating toy eggs.
Oh yeah.
And he was badgering me to go into the other room to get him some pens and papers, and I said, I can't be bothered, son. I'm having a rest.
Oh.
So I stifled his creativity. But he decorated an egg. His mum was at work. He decorated an egg. Wrote a note. He writes notes now. He drew lines and he wrote a note on there, and then he wrapped it up and put it in the egg.
Oh.
So he was
what
doing.
Does it say?
Oh, I couldn't read it. I couldn't read it. The writing was awful. The spelling was terrible. I mean, it's just ridiculous. If he was Chinese, he'd be fluent by now.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it's
a shame, isn't it?
It's awful. But no, I agree with some of that, Peter. I agree with some of the .com stuff. But then again, you know, a lot of people do use the internet. So I don't know what to say.
Can I put a plea out to anyone who's thinking of doing anything creative with, I don't know, say Rice Krispie cakes or those Nest things that you make, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can everyone stop sticking the fluffy chicks that you buy quite cheaply? You know what I'm talking about?
I know, the little tiny little ones.
Can you stop sticking them in the cake, because you can't pull them off without them leaving fuzz behind?
No, are you talking about Peter?
I'm talking about the chicks.
The chicks. Yeah.
Can you stop doing that?
Just give us the warning again.
If you want to be festive.
Just give us the warning again. You can't pull them off without leaving fuzz behind.
That's the size of it, yes.
I mean, it really is.
Seriously, you have to pick it out.
Yeah, it really is outrageous.
Just you off. It. No, it's horrible. It's stuck in your teeth.
Oh, I need to tidy up my hotkeys because I really want to just jump to something.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump to it.
Yeah. This is good. Spontaneous.
I'm going to jump to something. Hang on a second. Is it this?
Kelly, for God's sake, back away from this.
No.
I'm trying.
No, hang on a minute. I'm going to jump to something.
He's only wearing a suit.
No,
Go away.
It's not that. Where did I put it, Kelly?
I don't know.
I do it in head.
No.
That guy.
Where's my wood?
No.
Where's me woody?
No. Hang on. We're going to find it. Oh no. Here we go. Nope.
I like the mushy peas.
Run away! Run for your life!
This is good.
I think it's so close to my home.
No, I've lost it. I'll find it for tomorrow.
Anyway, just, if you're thinking of working with chicks today, just bear that in mind.
I like it when the show is not particularly good and then it just comes off the rail for the last 45 minutes. Those are my favourite ones.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A1M southbound, there's been an accident between junction 8 for Stevenage and 7 for the A602, and it's causing delays from junction 9 for Letchworth, taking 20 minutes to get through because 2 lanes are closed. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's looking really slow on the speed sensors between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 for the M40. And Featherfield on the M25 clockwise, the QE2 bridge is still closed because of the strong winds, so the Dartford Tunnel is open as a diversion route. In High Wycombe, Amersham Road is closed in both directions between Magnolia Dean and Tartaridge Lane because a tree's fallen down. Also in Kings Langley on Chipperfield Road, that's partially blocked at Whippenden Hill, and in Cuffley on Northwell Road West, that's closed at Castlegate Road and Station Road because a tree's fallen down. On the trains, London Midland have a replacement bus between St Albans and Watford Junction, and Chiltern Railway have delays between Aylesbury and Marylebone because of trees on the railway lines. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. That's it. That's your lot. We got away with it just about. I would give this a 4.5 out of 10. That's not bad, is it? Back tomorrow at 6. Until then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Tuesday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big